Hello, everybody, and welcome to The Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week where we talk about all the latest in pop culture news, TV and movie reviews, gaming news, and just the general conversations of the day. For those who don't know me, I'm Price of Reason, and with me, as always, is my co host, Professor R2. How's it going, Professor?
Oh, it's a going. I'm glad to be here. Happy to get to join you this evening on your earlier stream to talk about the A Team pilot over on TV shows
Definitely.
Revisited. That
And
was fun. And yeah, lots of other things to talk about today. Definitely, I know we both got to go see the Odyssey, so we'll get to spend some time chatting about that for sure. For sure.
we're definitely going to be talking about the Odyssey. I want to thank once again WDW Pro, who sent some people over this way in our previous stream, and I think some of them are even still here. Very, very grateful for that. I always like the work that guy does, and it was very, very nice of him to do the raid. So I'm saying that again, uh, just putting that out there. And yeah, we had the Odyssey. It's funny because there's been so much talk about this movie. I think that maybe there's been too much talk about this movie.
Yeah. Do we want to start with something besides the Odyssey? We could start somewhere else, and we could get to the Odyssey here in a minute. It's up to you.
I'm okay. Either way, actually.
We did not get to talk about this on Tuesday. Have you seen the trailer for I Play Rocky?
I did see that trailer. Yes. And
I was blown away by that trailer. I'm serious. Like, it just sort of popped up, and I'm like, what's this? Oh, I Play Rocky. Huh. Like, what's this? And the guy's doing the voice, and he's got the mannerisms and everything for young Sly, and he's, it's this story. Honestly, it always has been a great story. And I'm not somebody who is particularly fond of biopics. Really don't like, because they tend to make people out to be practically like gods, right? They ignore all of the flaws, they ignore all the stuff that they did wrong. They just make them out to be these larger than life people that are perfect, and I don't like it. It doesn't work, at least not for me. I looked at this and I thought, man, I don't know. And then I kept watching the trailer going, man, I am excited to see this movie. This looks really good.
My only comment about the trailer, I know a lot of the details of the real story, and I feel like they give away a lot in the trailer. That doesn't mean that it won't be interesting to watch it. I'm the target audience for that movie. I love Rocky. I also have always loved the behind the scenes story of Rocky, because the thing is that what people don't realize is that Sylvester Stallone, he wrote that movie, and it sort of mirrored what he was going through in his own life. So he himself was this guy that, like, people thought had potential, and he was really, like, struggling to break out as an actor, only getting like these kind of bit roles with nobody really taking him seriously. And he created this movie, sort of as a mirror of how he saw himself, only with this story of a boxer that kind of inspired him, because there was a real story with Muhammad Ali and this other guy. But none of that matters. The bottom line is he wrote it, and he really did write it very quickly, and he was very passionate about it. And yes, like, initially they wanted to just take a script, make the movie, and they didn't want him to be the star of the movie. They would never hire him. Like, and he really bet on himself there. And not only that, the whole movie itself was such a, there were so many things about this production. Talk about like lightning in a bottle, and so many things about this production that were difficult. It was like a shoestring budget. Was talk while they were filming that movie that they were going to show it as a TV movie. You know what I mean? Like a movie of the week on some, like, broadcast network. They did not consider that anything. They thought this is just some weird, like, crap with a no-name actor, and nobody cares, and we're just going to put it on TV. And like, the amount of how they didn't rate this movie, this actor, this story, and any of it, and it ended up being like, the most, like, highest grossing movie of the year, like, and compared to his budget, it just made like a ton of money and won awards and all this other stuff. And yeah, Sylvester Stallone, without him, you don't have that movie. Famously, you know, I've told you before, they didn't give him a title of like producer on that movie when in fact, between you and me, he was a producer. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
Like
Absolutely. Yeah.
he didn't get a cut of the franchise. He didn't get to be producer. And I think until this day, from time to time, he goes off on rants about it because he feels like they never took care of him. The only thing I always say about that is that once the sequels came along, if they wanted him there, he should have demanded at that point, you want me back for sequels? I got to have a portion of this. And I think that with good enough management and negotiating there, I think that he should have been able to secure it. I don't feel bad for the guy. The guy has made a ton of money. You know what I mean? Like
Oh yeah. Yeah.
it opened up doors for him that he could build like a fortune. So it's not like I'm anybody's weeping for him, but I can understand why it would annoy him that he doesn't have a stake in that franchise. That's all I'll say,
Yeah.
considering all
Yeah.
the work that he did.
And yet literally, I mean, he was penniless. He was broke. He had nothing when he had this script, the original script for Rocky, right? But he stuck to his guns, and that's part of the story, right? Is that repeatedly he said, look, no, this character is me. We're not getting someone else to play this character. I am this character. And they're like, we're not gonna shoot this film. We're not gonna make this film with you because we don't know who the hell you are, right? We'll buy the script from you. We like the script. This script is actually phenomenal. We'll buy the script. We're not gonna let you be the star in this movie that you wrote just because whatever, right? We'll just want to make the movie. And then they kept upping offers, giving him bigger offers, you know, and that's where the title of the film, you know, comes from. This title of this new film is I Play Rocky. Like that was his insistence. I am going to play this character. This character is me. And you know, we're like I said, this guy Stallone was living paycheck to paycheck, job to job. Literally before he made Rocky, he was so poor. He sold his dog. He sold his dog on the street for like $50 just so he could eat. Right?
Yeah, that's
And I mean, the good news is that those of you who don't know the story, he, after he got paid for the script and got started making Rocky, he tracked the guy down who bought the dog and bought the dog back. And reportedly spent something like $15,000. Like the guy kept raising the price and reportedly spent $10,000-$15,000 to buy the dog back. And when people ask him, you know, that much for a dog, are you serious? And he says it was worth every penny. And of course, that dog appears in Rocky.
Yeah.
So you know, that was the dog that he had to sell just so he could, you know, feed himself while he was writing the script, while he was you know, getting ready for the film. But yeah, I mean, it's a great American story of this guy who was down on his luck and turned his life around, turned his luck around by sticking to his guns and really being just going out there and doing something he was passionate and loved. And I watched that trailer. I thought, you know, initially I was like, I couldn't care, but I'll check it out. And by the end of that trailer, I was like, when does this come out? I want to see this movie now. This looks fantastic.
I want to see it too. And the other thing with what was the other thing that happened? You know, there were some happy accidents also, but I think that this just. I'm happy for him that they worked out this way. See, one of the key ingredients to this movie working out well is that because they didn't have a lot of money for an elaborate set and tracking shots and all this stuff that people were accustomed to then, they gambled, I mean, on a technology that was not really used until that moment, which is the Steadicam.
Yes.
And a lot of the stuff you see in this movie is just, you know, the guy that like invented the Steadicam, which is like a staple in anything we see today. Anything you see in entertainment like is working on that concept of the Steadicam. The Steadicam would change the way movies are made. This is like, you know, in the 70s, you know what I mean? So using the Steadicam, I would argue maybe the first time that this Steadicam was properly used like this in a movie, and the movie ended up looking a lot bigger than it was, meaning it was filmed, you know, I don't know if the budget was like $1 million, but it looked way more because like the Steadicam, the way that the shots, it allowed it to do things that like these kind of stationary cameras and cranes couldn't do. It was this kind of thing where you're going around and you know, it's a more personal and kind of gritty style of filmmaking. And really they had no other choice. That's the funny thing. They had no other choice.
Yeah.
But it was like I said, lightning in a bottle. You also have the music, the guy that he brought to do, is it Bill Conti, whatever it is, fantastic score.
Mm-hmm.
Just so many things worked out here so well. And again, Carl Weathers, he needed that actor, and I think that guy was just like, what great casting.
Oh,
There's just
amazing. Yes.
yeah, also even Burt Young, even the Talia Shire that played Adrian, who's like Coppola's sister or whatever it is. All of that, she was in The Godfather. I think she was probably the most well-known actress when this thing was filmed. All these other people, like, nobody knew who they were. She was probably the only name that somebody may have known. Maybe Burt Young, I don't really know, but she was really the one that they knew.
Yeah.
And it's like it's a movie that really I love these type of things, and I wish we'd see more of them in our day and age. Although this year has been pretty positive when it comes to these more smaller productions, but this is what I like about cinema: when somebody has a dream, a small budget, he's fighting for a movie, fighting to get into the movie, fighting to do it his way, and at the end, it reshapes like an entire, changes how you think like movies like this could get made, and a game changer, I would say. So the one good thing I'll say is, although I enjoyed Obsession, it's not as good as Rocky for me, and it's not as like
No.
amazing and not like pop culture staple. But at least this year, I was happy to see a few productions like Obsession that somebody with $750,000 said, "I'm making this movie." And then it's like, wow, like it really, it's one of the highest grossing movies of all time, considering what was invested in it. It's just insanity. And you also, on a much smaller scale, and of course, also not on the level of Rocky. But I'll say that, like, I enjoyed that movie Power Ballad this year. There was a movie that came out this year that I'm the only person that saw it, called Power Ballad. I think that because it cost maybe $7 or $8 million to make. Some people said 10, but I think that they got like a rebate from the government of Ireland or something. So I think it cost them like $7 or $8 million to make. Amazon already had a deal with a production company that they're going to put it on like pay-per-view or something. And in order to do pay-per-view, you have to have some kind of run in the theaters. But the catch is that I feel like they didn't make an effort with a run. They didn't put money into it. They're just like, let's show it here. Let's just put a check mark that it was in theaters. Then we can do the pay-per-view, because there's a requirement that you have to do that. So, or I don't really know all the ins and outs, but there's some kind of requirement. So then now the theater is just like a formality. You know what I mean? They're like, we're not going to invest. The movie costs like $8 million to make. We're not going to put like more money into marketing it. We'll just release it in the theaters and some limited screenings, and then screw it. We'll put it on pay-per-view. It's going to make all the money back. You know what I mean? Like, once you have something like $7-8 million, Amazon's not sweating that. They have some content to put on their Prime Video. They don't give a shit. You know what I mean? Professor?
Yes. Sorry.
So yeah, no, I thought like I dropped. I didn't know if like I was gone from the stream.
No, you're good.
So yeah, I guess what I'm saying is that I am happy that in 2026 we got a few cases of people that had visions and wanted to do something their own way.
Mm-hmm.
And I do think that YouTube, in many ways, the fact that a few people recently were like from YouTube and they started making movies, it does make some sense to me, because at least with YouTube, you're bypassing a lot of these studios. You put a little short movie here with a concept and people like it. Well, you built that. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't need anything from anybody really. You just did your own thing and people liked it. And I think that that's an interesting way to go. It's a lot more in touch with viewers than what Hollywood studios are, because Hollywood studio executives aren't sitting there posting a video on YouTube and a thumbnail and thinking, well, what's going to get somebody to look at this video? What interests people? What do people want to watch? They don't have their hand on the pulse like that. And I think we've seen it more and more in recent years. In any case, I am very, very excited, to watch that Sylvester Stallone movie. I've always found the story fascinating.
Yes.
It looks like it's well made. I enjoyed that series. I forgot, The Offer, the one that they did about how they made The Godfather.
Yes.
Did you see that?
I never got to see the whole thing. I need to go back and see if it's available on another streaming platform now, because I think I lost the subscription, because it was on like Paramount Plus, I think. And I think I started it and then lost my subscription, didn't have my subscription or something, and didn't get to continue it. But I'll have to go see if it's available again.
I see.
It was funny that you mentioned, because I actually you mentioned the Steadicam with Rocky earlier, and so I was just gonna say many years ago, just weird rabbit hole went down, like learning about the Steadicam and like where it came from and how it started getting built, and I learned about it being used in Rocky. In fact, Rocky was one of the very first films it was ever used in, especially at the extent that it was for that film, and it made a huge difference for the way they were able to make all those scenes. Him running up and down the stairs, jogging through the market, even using it in the ring, like so he's dancing around the actors while they're doing their fight, and it really gives you that feeling that you're just right there with the character, right? And the really funny thing is, yeah, it's used extensively in there. The guy who invented the Steadicam is from Philly and did almost all the shooting with the Steadicam for that movie. So that's how early this was. Like, the guy that invented the Steadicam had to come and do the Steadicam for Rocky.
But that's what I'm saying. That's why I'm saying that that's like the place where it really made a difference. That's why on that alone, the movie is a game changer.
Yeah.
And this is also like a lucky development that you have not only the guy that invented the Steadicam, he's in Philly and he's on your set. And, later he'd be like the toast of the town. But like at that moment, he's like, hey, look, I got this Steadicam. They're like, fuck it. Let's just use it. You know what I mean? It's like, it's such a strange thing, but it ended up like being so important. And it really does make a difference. If you watch the way that movie is filmed, until today, it holds up as a really good kind of, it doesn't feel, I mean, you could claim it's dated for whatever reasons, but it feels less dated than a lot of other productions because of this kind of more gritty type of, I don't know if gritty or natural way of filming it that they managed to do with the Steadicam. I think it really makes a difference.
Yeah, absolutely.
So yeah, that's definitely something cool. And I am looking forward to the movie. I think that the thing looks good. Speaking, and then we were talking about Warner Brothers. I keep hearing now these guys they're trying to torpedo the guys in California, and some other attorney generals are trying to torpedo the Paramount Warner Brothers merger. I think there was a development today. There was some kind of development with that. I think a judge dismissed something or something. I'm trying to figure out if they have like real any kind of real steam to get this, like, to really put a monkey wrench in this deal, or do you think that like Warner Brothers and Paramount are just moving forward?
Let's see. I didn't see anything about it. Let's see. Judge axes TRO. Judge denies preliminary injunction. So I can share this real quick.
Do it.
Do it. Oh, you'll have to put it in presentation there.
Done.
Okay. Yep. So judge denies preliminary injunction in consumer lawsuit seeking to block Paramount Warner Brothers Discovery merger. A federal judge has denied a group of consumers a preliminary injunction, which means that while things might go through, he's not going to say, while this lawsuit goes forward, we're going to shut everything down. Right? So there's no preliminary injunction. It's like, nope. We're not going to do that. We're not going to shut down the merger while we hear what this case or whatever. This can move forward, but we're not going to shut the merger down in the meantime. So it says the judge said that she is taking Paramount's motion to dismiss the lawsuit under advisement. Let's see. Oh, does it continue?
It seems very petty, all of this. Like, what... I've been reading that if this merger, much like with that airline thing, if this merger doesn't go through, they're probably screwing over a lot more people than they realize. And they're willing to do that just so they can be jerks. You know what I mean? Like, they're not doing it for the right reasons. I mean, honestly, do I think it's good that big studios merge? It's probably not good. But I don't think there's a situation here where there was another path. And this seems to be the only path forward for Warner Brothers. We're in a ton of debt,
Yeah. I mean, they essentially have said that, look, if we're not sold, if this merger doesn't go through, we're just going to have to sell our company off in chunks. Right. That's it. Like there is no Warner Brothers continues operating as is. Like we we do this, or we sell it off in pieces. So it does say, so continuing, this week, attorneys general from California and 11 other states filed their own antitrust lawsuit. The same judge will take up their motion for a temporary restraining order on Friday. In her remarks, the judge said the consumers had failed to meet the threshold to order an immediate halt to the $110 merger. I think there's supposed to be an M after that. Actually, a B, right? 100 is it? I don't know. Remember how much it was.
I'm not sure.
A preliminary injunction is an extraordinary remedy that may only be awarded upon a clear showing the plaintiff is entitled to such relief. So, hey, what do you know? We got a judge that actually knows what the law means and is actually able to apply it reasonably, seems like. It says the plaintiffs failed to meet that standard, have not offered any evidence that they have not made a clear showing of a likelihood of success, nor a clear showing of irreparable harm. So, yeah, it basically like, look, you're bringing this lawsuit. You're not showing me that this merger is going to hurt you in any way, that or that it is in any way, going forward, that this is going to, have some major thing that's going to happen. And you're also not proving to me that your lawsuit looks like it's likely to succeed. So preliminary injunctions, not happening, right? Preliminary injunctions are typically, they're supposed to be there for like, look, I'm looking at the evidence that I see, I'm looking at the stuff that you're doing, and either the lawsuit that you're bringing really is like against something serious. It looks like it could be harmful if something does happen. So we need to shut it down while we figure this out. Or you need to show that the lawsuit that you have is very likely to be successful in the end. Like, look, it's almost like on its face. Like they look at it and they go, yeah, when we finish through with these proceedings, this is going to be in your favor. So we're just going to go ahead and shut it down. So that's what she's saying. Like, look, when we're done with this, you're probably not going to win. And even if it does go through, I don't actually see that you've proven that you're going to be harmed by it. So sorry.
Yeah. I personally hope that none of this will work and they can just do the merger. I'm not saying that it's good that they're doing a merger, but I'm saying that I think that the alternative is probably worse. So they should just let it go through and stop doing all this shit. Sorry, Sean. When they had Netflix, none of these people complained. And the fact that now they're complaining, that seems not legit to me. It's like, it can't be that the other one, I mean, I'm sure they weren't thrilled about the Netflix thing, but I don't think they would have pushed back like this. I think they're very much pushing back because of what they perceive David Ellison to be. They perceive him to be like, not a hard left guy like themselves. I don't even know. Maybe I mean, they say that his family is like sort of friends with Trump or whatever, but I don't know him to be like, I don't know him at all, but I'm saying, I don't know that he's like a hard right guy. I think that he just, maybe he's not a hard left guy.
Yeah, well, that's, we've talked about this before, right? The sort of the shifting of that, political spectrum a little bit where now, things that used to be, I mean, remember, Donald Trump was a Democrat in the 1990s and was loved by the Democrats. And he hasn't really moved on his positions very much, but now he's a raving right-wing lunatic to them, right? So there's been this change and this shift in things where, like, I would imagine that that they probably the Ellisons probably don't see themselves as being arch conservatives.
Yeah, I know what you mean.
They probably see themselves as being more centrist, but that's not how a lot of other people tend to see them. So kind of looking here at what Deadline had to say, Joseph Aliato, the lead attorney for the plaintiffs, argued that all they had to show was a threat to injury. So this was the argument that they were making to the judge. He cited the price hike for Paramount Plus subscriptions after Skydance acquired the studio last year. So that's his evidence that there will be harm, is that they raised the price. Fascinating. There's a bunch of other streaming services that also raise their prices. And that doesn't seem to be, cited as any kind of consumer harm, right? Like Netflix raises their prices like every freaking year. You got all of these other platforms, they're raising their price every 18 months. Disney has raised their prices. I believe at this point, from when they introduced Disney Plus, when it, in 2019, 2020, when it started, I think they've raised the price 300% or more at this point since it was originally introduced. So it's like, I'm sorry, injury from raising prices. Again, the judge was basically like, yeah, right. And the argument is that, well, with the debt load that Paramount has and taking on the extra debt from Warner Brothers, they'll have no choice but to raise the price, and that's going to cause, injury. And the lead attorney for Paramount basically said, look, price increases, you can't say that's because of a merger, and especially when the merger hasn't been completed yet. The merger with Paramount isn't actually fully implemented at this point. So, it's kind of silly to say that, everyone's so hurt by all of this. Yeah. So, I'm glad to see that. Seems like that was a reasonable decision there. The lawsuit can continue. It has not been dismissed at this point, but essentially, the judge said, look, you have not met the requirements necessary for for an injunction at this stage. So, that's definitely something.
I hope all their stuff doesn't work for them. You know what I mean? Like, I don't want any of this stuff. I think that they should let it go. It's not being done for the right reasons. I understand that, generally speaking, like I said, these mergers are not necessarily a good thing, but they're not coming from a legitimate concern of this is good or bad. They're just doing it for other kind of sneaky reasons. And that's why I think that they should just take a hike.
Yeah, and on a related note here, it says Paramount Warner Brothers Discovery emergency motions, a showdown hearing, and next steps. So, if we want an early indication of the strength of the state's efforts to stop Paramount's proposed acquisition of Warner Brothers Discovery, it will come soon. California Attorney General Rob Bonta and 11 of his colleagues filed a motion for a request for emergency relief or temporary restraining order and preliminary injunction. If granted, a TRO would put a halt to the $110 billion transaction for at least a couple of weeks, while a preliminary injunction would go longer as the legal process plays out. It talks about what the judge would weigh here, in order to decide whether something should be granted. But as we saw, that's expected, at least looking at that, to begin tomorrow, potentially a decision on that within the next few days. Because a hearing has been set for Friday, and it's been asked for an emergency motion before July 22nd. So
I see that it says that Mark D with a C has rated this stream, but I'm having trouble highlighting his comment, so I'm going to disappear and be back.
Okay. So Price will be right back. This lawsuit, there's other separate lawsuits that are going on. There's a few that have been joined. They are saying that their argument for an injunction or restraining order is that the merger is presumptively unlawful, pointing at other things like market share. Although, I mean, really, that wouldn't be the same with Netflix, right? Sure. But
I will say this, though: if you're watching on any platform and you're like lurking but you're not really talking, please leave a comment for us. We really we like that kind of thing, and it helps us with algorithms. So if you're in the chat, you don't even have to have like a long conversation. Drop like an emoji, and that actually helps us. And that's whether you're on YouTube or Rumble or wherever it is. All of that stuff really helps us. So please keep that in mind. We're very interested in you guys leaving any kind of something. So that would be cool. And I'm very grateful for this Mark D with the C raid. Mark D with the C is, of course, a friend of the channel and a VIP, friend of the Night Owl, which is why you see him here from time to time. And So
I think
happy that
I think
we
old Mark is not feeling too well tonight, so I wouldn't be surprised if he won't if he will not
Oh,
be
that's too bad. I
popping in
did not know
joining us a
that.
little later. So if you're still listening, Mark, I hope you're gonna be you're feeling better, buddy.
I hope you're feeling better too, man. Sorry I didn't know he wasn't feeling well, but
Yeah.
hopefully he feels better. That's for sure. So yeah, we got that going, and there was something I wanted to show you random. This is like the most random, stupid thing, but I'm petty and dumb, and sometimes I have to show you things that even that you're not interested in seeing them yet.
Yeah. Random stupid things don't exist on this show, Price. Everything has a purpose.
All right, so let me show you what I had in mind here. Yeah, random things don't exist. I'm going to show you right now. Let me try to find this. I did a screenshot. Sometimes I get people that respond to my videos, and I don't know why. Like, I get such weird comments, and I feel like I want to share them with the world. So I want to share with you something. There was a movie called Together. Now, I don't know if you're familiar with this movie. Do you know what that movie was about?
No.
Basically, it was a movie about a husband and wife, like a pretty young couple, or someone, I don't know, semi-young, not that young, I guess. A husband and wife. It was played by like James Franco's brother and Alison Brie, who I like those two, and they're married in real life, and I don't
Yeah, they're
mind them.
married in real life.
Right. So, they basically star as a couple that, and of course, the movie starts off, she's this successful woman that's doing everything great. He's like, an unemployed kind of bum musician that, everything's not working for him. And
Aren't
she's
they
kind of
always?
what'd you say?
Aren't the men always that way? They're the
Right,
unemployed
right.
bums.
100%. And she's like, she's like the alpha in that relationship. He's kind of like this like dumb pushover, I don't know what. And they end up moving to some place like, remote place. And in that place, there's something in the water. It's a really long story, but basically, even if you watch the trailer, gradually there's something happening that's trying to merge their bodies together to become like one person, and it's called Together. Okay.
So yeah, I do remember seeing a trailer for this. Yeah,
Right, right.
it's coming back to me. You're talking about them like merging, like sort of like their bodies kind of like sticking together, and yeah. Okay, so
Now,
I do remember this.
Now, the thing is, I will say that I know some people in our own circles that enjoyed that movie. I think that Vex Electronica didn't mind it, and I think that she didn't, agree with some of my criticism. But my claim is, and I'm sorry, this is a little bit of a spoiler, but it's not really a spoiler. The final scene of the movie is that after their bodies have merged and they weren't able to separate it, they kind of look like it kind of looks like a it's how Elliot Page looked before she was Elliot. He was
Okay, sure.
before Elliot Page was Elliot Page. You know what Elliot Page looked like, and then what he looked like. You understand the before and after.
Yeah,
So this looks like an after of Alison Brie. Do you get what I'm saying? Because
gotcha.
they were a man and a woman, and they merged. And I think that it's maybe her parents that show up to visit them, and this new androgynous thing opens the door to greet them, and the movie ends this way. That, like, how do you explain to your parents now that you're this other thing? But the way the thing is set up, and when you look at that scene, it almost feels like, you know a tip of the hat to Transformers. Do you get what I'm saying?
Gotcha. Yeah.
Not only is the guy like a bum throughout the movie and she's like the successful one, he cooks, she's like the breadwinner, all that stuff like throughout. Not only that, by the end of it, like, there's this kind of feeling of what'll the parents think? I can't explain it. It's sometimes I've seen enough of these movies over the past several years that you have like a spidey sense at some point. And I then Googled, and I think that the director writer of the movie was being coy about it. He's like, "Oh, really? You think that it's that? Oh, wow!" But like the way he was doing it, I didn't believe him. I felt like he knew exactly what he was doing. Now, have there been movies that have been more blunt in pushing a message like that? I'm sure there have been, but I couldn't ignore that the movie was trying to do that. And I claimed that the movie was woke. That's what I said about it. So somebody had some issues with what I wrote, and they had some comment for me. And I want to show you what the comment was. Are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
And it's funny because I think that people still watch that review. It's on Price of Reason Live as kind of a bonus review. From time to time, people still watch that one. Not a million, but sometimes people watch that one. And this is the comment that I got. So I wrote together a review, too woke and not enough horror. And then this person write, if you don't like the movie, just say you don't like the movie. You had valid criticisms at the start, but the moment you tried to shoehorn in the woke BS, your argument collapsed completely. But did it collapse completely? It ends with them merging into an androgynous being. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
Very foundation of what I'm trying to say, that like they're playing games through the whole thing, but at the end, that's the main thing of the movie. So I don't think that my argument collapsed at all. The final scene is that it looks like an Elliot Page of Alison Brie. I don't know if I explained that well, but did you get what I'm trying to say?
Gotcha.
It looks like Elliot Brie. Do you understand what I'm trying to say?
Indeed.
For lack of a better way to describe this situation, Alison Brie transforms into Elliot Brie for the final scene of the movie, where Alison Brie's parents have come to visit, who's now Elliot Brie, but now this is something that has to be dealt with. And for me, that felt very much like it was trying to bring home some kind of something there, messaging. And yeah, so then either come out of the closet or just accept a film can fall flat without being intrinsically woke, or whatever you think that means. It's like, no, that is the very definition of woke. If it ends like that and that's the end of the movie, at least from my perspective, that's what makes it that. Do you get what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Like I don't appreciate this comment, Professor. That's what I want to say, that I 100% disagree with what was written here. So
that's odd. Yeah.
And it's like, and also at the end of the day, I can give my own, impression of the movie. People are just so weird sometimes. So yeah, I am sorry that I had to trouble you with all of that. I sometimes get much worse comments than that, but that one just annoyed me. It's like, why all the personal attacks here? Like, at the end of the day, I've watched the movie. I said what I thought the messaging was. I said why I didn't like the messaging of the movie, and that there was something about it that annoyed me. And I'm allowed to have that opinion. You know what I mean? Like, I don't have to subscribe to whatever other opinions are. It could be a studio shill. But he's like, you made some valid criticism until you said it was woke. But that was my criticism. That was what I said was my criticism. So what do you mean? What valid points did I make? All the other points were that they made him the loser bum, where his wife is the breadwinner and he's an idiot. And then finally, like, they did the androgynous Elliot Brie at the end. I mean, what comments did he like from what I said? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
What were my good comments? All right.
Yeah.
I'll calm down now.
Yep. Let's see. What else? Are we ready to move on to the Odyssey? Or actually, we've got some super chats. We should get to the super chats.
Let's do the super chats
before you make a new transition onto anything else.
I was happy. You know what? I was happy that I was able to tell the Gerard Butler story. That was good.
I hope Six got to go back and listen to the Gerard Butler story.
I'm not sure that she did, but I like Six a lot, and I hope she listens to the story. I'll say that. Because Six is awesome. And let me try to pull up the super chats, because that's very important. We always want to take care of the super chat situation. Kingdom 1996 SKC says Apple TV has best shows currently, in my opinion. You know what? I don't watch enough Apple TV.
Yeah,
I have it, and I don't find myself watching it, and I don't know why. I don't know if it has good shows or if it doesn't have good shows, but somehow I don't find myself watching them enough if they're good. Do you have Apple TV?
I do, yeah, and I've watched a few shows on there, although I haven't really watched any of this stuff recently. Although I have been watching the most recent, the latest season of Silo, which is back for a third season now. I believe they're going to give it one more season after that fourth season. And while I really enjoyed the first season, the second season was okay. So far, the third season has been a dud. So I don't know. We'll have to wait and see. Maybe it'll pick up, but it's. I mean, it's not like it's like, like woke or anything, right? It's not like there's all sorts of stuff being shoved in The central character is a woman, but that's not that's just the story. It's just, I don't know, just has not been this latest season. Season 3 has not been great yet. So
So many shows, they start off with a good first season, but the way all these Netflix and streaming shows work, it takes so many years until you get the second season that
yeah,
you lose momentum. You lose momentum with viewers. I'm sure you lose momentum with writers. You lose
yeah,
momentum with even the actors' performances who are not like in the zone with that character. Maybe they've done 7 projects since. I don't love it. I don't love that,
yeah. Yeah, and this one is coming from a trilogy of books that was written by Hugh Howey. So they have the original material there, right? But they have in a few places deviated from it pretty heavily. And so I wonder if that's now starting to cause issues. I don't know. But yeah, I mean, I'm still checking it out, but yeah, so far hasn't been great this season. But yeah, there's a lot of other stuff that's on Apple TV that I have not made time for. I have a friend who absolutely loves For All Mankind, and while I've watched a few of the episodes of it, it didn't grab me in that first season, and so I've never really gone back to it. There's a couple of other newer shows on there that have been doing really well. Yeah. So
interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe I'll have to visit it again. Like I said, I just sometimes I start a show and I forget even
Yeah.
what it was about, and if it's not so amazing that like I have to see more of it, it kind of just loses me. And sometimes there's such a dip in quality. Like there was a show called The Night Agent, and it came out on Netflix. I rather enjoyed the first season. It wasn't perfect, but
Yeah,
I
the
thought,
first season of Night Agent was great.
yeah, I mean, I thought this is a pretty fun kind of espionage, whatever it is. Let's see where they take it. Thought it was pretty good, and I was genuinely looking forward to that second season. The second season comes out. I struggle to remember if I finished that second season. That second season was terrible. Like it was such a dip in quality. It felt like going through the motions. The first season, every episode was so kind of tightly written and well put together, whereas like the second season, it just feels like complete filler. Like they don't know what they're doing. And it almost felt like it was a completely different team of people doing it. Maybe it was. I have no idea. I just feel like that second season really took a hit in the quality. Did you watch the second
Yeah.
season?
No,
Why didn't you watch it?
I just didn't.
But you have to tell if you like the first one, why didn't you watch the second one? Like at
No.
least I did the right thing. You like the first one, you watched the second one, but the second one just wasn't good. How did you just think the second one would be bad?
No. I just didn't come back.
You have to
Yeah.
give more explanation. Now I'm curious.
I just had
Now
other
I'm not gonna,
stuff.
what'd you say? There's so much stuff.
I just had other stuff.
I feel like there's something you're not telling us, Professor.
No. What did you like so much about what was wrong with the second season that you didn't like?
Well, it just felt like, there were just so many just these kind of plot conveniences, but over the top. It felt cheap. Like I can't explain it to you. Like things that you look at it and you're like, come on, whoever wrote this, if they think about it for another like 2 seconds, can do better than this. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
it felt lazy. That's what it felt like lazy with no direction, all over the place, going through the motions. Now, sometimes you have a show that like is awesome for like 5 seasons, and then in the sixth season you start saying, well, they're just kind of going through the motions. If you watch the show 24, you'll watch the first few seasons. There's a lot of great stuff there, but as you get to season like 6, 7, 8, you can already tell that they're kind of fudging it. You know what I mean? But in Night Agent, I felt like they went from season 1 to season 8, if you know what I'm saying, quality wise.
Yeah, I just didn't come back to it. It wasn't like, oh, I honestly, I think at the time I had canceled Netflix when the second season came out,
Ah, I see.
and I just never came back to it.
I see.
But I the first season was fine. I thought I enjoyed it. Yeah.
That's
Now, someone mentioned kind of related title. Somebody mentioned The Night Manager. Wasn't that the Tom Hiddleston one?
yeah. I think that was the Tom Hiddleston one. I didn't actually watch. I didn't watch The Night Manager, quite honestly. Is it good? Was it good?
Yeah. It was really enjoyable. At least I only there was the first season of it. I think the second season came out like early this year, like 2.5 years later or something. Like it was almost like a 3-year break from the first season to the second season. I did not watch the second season. I'm not even sure where to watch it. Looking here. Renewed for a second and third series on BBC One or Amazon Prime. Oh, okay. Well, I didn't check out the second or third series, but the first season that they did back in, when was that? Let's see. 2016. Wow, that's way older than I thought. So yeah, 2016. When they made the original series Night Manager. I really enjoyed that. It was good.
They made a second season.
It's kind of a spy adventure, but they made a second season. The second season didn't come out until earlier this year. So 10 years later.
Was it any good?
I don't know. I didn't watch it.
Oh, okay. I didn't watch it either. What do I know? Did we do the super chat? So Apple TV has the best shows currently. Wow, that £2, you got his money's worth, Mr. Kingdom. Apple TV has the best shows currently, in my opinion. Then we have The Dead Man 79 with $1.99 hail price, and R2. The Dead Man 79 has his own channel where he talks about Star Trek, and you should check that out. And thank you guys for the super chats, of course.
And there is one more super chat if we want to get it before we move on.
Let's do that.
Here, I can just share the screen real quick so we don't have.
Sounds good.
Where'd it go? Here we go. Yep. Dead Man. Once again, for another $2. I reviewed all our yesterdays. Yes. All our yesterdays, original TOS episodes. So yeah, Dead Man has his own channel. He reviews Star Trek. Has even reviewed some newer Star Trek that we won't touch. I'm just kidding. We touch it all. We talk about all the stuff, but not in depth. But yeah, Dead Man has his own channel. He's got some great videos over there reviewing Star Trek. So that's awesome. Yeah, thank you, Dead Man.
100% awesome. Yeah. So hi, Tim Hayes. How's it going? I was trying to highlight it, and Six is here as well, and I like Six, even though I know she was busy and she didn't hear that wonderful story that I told last time, that I was inspired by her super chat to tell the story. I wished you had heard it, but it was a rather good story. I think it was a pretty good story.
I thought it was pretty good. Yeah, that was fun.
And so let's see. What else are we going on here?
If we're ready, we can go ahead and move on to the Odyssey. That's fine with me.
I saw some rumors that they would, like, James Gunn wants like Alan Ritchson to be his Batman, or
that's been going around forever.
I feel like what's going on now is he's trying to take that Man of Tomorrow and shove every single thing that he can into Man of Tomorrow. Anything. Blue Beetle in Man of Tomorrow. This Man of Tomorrow. This. He's trying to create like an event, quote unquote, that'll have so many things in it that he's hoping that'll cause people to get up and go to the theater to be like, wow, it has Superman, it has Supergirl, which both flopped, but it has both of them. It has Lex Luthor. It has like Blue Beetle. It has who else is it supposed to have in it? They're trying to like shove in a bunch of things in there. I can't even remember what else. Who else is supposed to be in that movie? Probably Hawk Lady and those Justice Gang and Mr. Terrific. Like they're gonna shove, as much as you thought that Superman was like a Guardians of the Superman. This is gonna be like an Ultra Guardians of the Superman. And it's so funny that like in his sequel to Superman, he's trying to make it like Avengers Endgame. You know what I mean? He's like, let's bring every single thing that you can think of. He wants to bring that Adria Arjona or something to be
Yeah,
Wonder Woman.
she's gonna come in as Maxima, something like that.
Maxima / Wonder Woman.
Although,
Yeah.
yes, it sounds like there's been some leaks of her costume from the sets, and people say that it looks like it's probably a Wonder Woman costume. And I don't know. So yeah,
I love this comment by William03. Alan Richman as Ellen Page. I think that they should do a biopic about. Oh, sorry. I don't know who Ellen Page is. There was once a person called that, but today there's somebody called Elliot Page. So Alan Richson. When they do a biopic about Elliot Page, Alan Richson could play
there you go.
Elliot Page.
Yeah.
I don't know. My mind's
sure
getting
he
confused
could
here.
fit into that role.
Although
one way or another,
that he could play Ellen Page, which also interesting. I that would be interesting to see as well.
Interesting, yeah. Yeah, I mean, I think so there's going to be like Maxima / Wonder Woman. There's supposed to be there's a possibility that they're going to try and potentially squeeze in Lobo. Crypto's going to be in there. Probably we're going to see Metamorpho again, I would imagine, because he's part of the Justice Gang now. Of course, Guy Gardner and Mr. Terrific from the first, Superman film that Gunn did. Maybe Aaron Pierre's Green Lantern, maybe Supergirl. We know that we're going to see Brainiac and Rick Flag, and we're going to see Lex Luthor. It's just like how many different characters do you have to shove
Rick Flag, yeah,
into this movie? Yeah, how many characters do you have to shove in to,
like, look, this Adria Arjona girl, she doesn't look bad. I'm not saying that she looks bad or there's something wrong with her. She looks good. She's fine. But I also don't think that she's like, I don't know. Until now, I haven't seen something where you really see the charm of what could be a Wonder Woman. Like, I don't know.
No.
I don't feel like she doesn't seem like a Wonder Woman to me.
No, unless they're going to make her some kind of dour, depressed version of Wonder Woman, like we got a dour, depressed version of Supergirl. Who knows?
Yeah, I mean, look, like when you see a picture of her, like with her makeup and all that stuff, I mean, she's not like I'm not saying she's not a bad looking lady, okay? It's not that I look at her and think, oh, like this is gross. Like, why did they choose her? Like, she's a pretty woman, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I based on the things that I've seen her until now, she doesn't have the charm. You know what I mean? A lot could be said about the acting skills, let's say, of Gal Gadot, but I think that she has the charm. Just there's something about her charm that's likable, and I didn't feel like until today when I've seen Adria Arjona in movies, unless she's hidden that charm, unless she's had the charm but she wanted to keep it a secret, she seems more kind of like grumpy. You know what I mean? She doesn't give the vibe, the more positive vibe that you need, in my opinion, for Wonder Woman. And yeah, I don't know. Linda Carter, I think, had everything. I mean, Linda Carter, in my opinion, had it all. But I also like Gal Gadot. Like I think that very, very hard. Just like when I look at Superman and I think of Christopher Reeve, and it's really hard to top his version. I think it's hard to top Linda Carter's version of Wonder Woman. But I think that in the versions of, let's say, Henry Cavill or Gal Gadot, I was fine with those castings. I thought that those were you can't bring those other guys back. So if you have to choose new people, I thought that they did what they needed to do. You could argue about some of the screenplays they got, but that's a whole different conversation. But I thought that, as far as casting wise, I thought that those were good casting. This lady, I don't know. I'm not sure about her.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm the same.
Wonder Woman doesn't exist to smile for you. It's not a matter of smiling. There's just something. there's something about like their character when I think of Linda Carter or with like Gal Gadot that brings a more positive thing. Maybe this actress has it. I just haven't seen it. She doesn't give me, she comes off more grumpy. Like, I don't want, it's not like I have an issue with how this lady looks, you know what I mean? She looks fine, but you understand what I mean.
Well, she'll be covered from head to toe in some uniform of some kind.
Right.
She will not be wearing the classic Wonder Woman outfit. That's for sure.
Well, Alonzo Musk says that he's been waiting for our Odyssey review.
Oh yes, well we're gonna get there. Although we have a few more super chats, so let's go ahead and do those.
Let's do those
before we get into it. So let's see here. We have another $2 from the Dead Man. Time travel, no warp. Well, I suppose that's possible. Yes, all our yesterdays. Mr. Ataz. Let's see. Possible guest appearances on Pro Show down the line. Crossovers on YouTube are rather cool. Yeah, Douglas Nutt for $5. Thank you, Douglas Nutt.
Well, I'd be happy to. Obviously, I'll look into it. I don't. I don't know what one does.
I think either of us would be thrilled to be on the Pro Show.
Sure.
I think WDW Pro has a great show, amazing guests. He also has a fantastic chat, which I'm sure if you've been over there, Douglas, if you spend time over there, Douglas, so yeah, it's he's got a great show, great guests, great people over there. There's people that are regulars over there. We know, obviously, Tom Connors has been on the Pro Show numerous times. So has Culture Casino, and it's a great group of people over there on the Pro Show.
The thing is, I think for years now, I have a lot of mutual friends with WDW Pro. Haven't had yet a chance. I've been on a few streams with him on other channels, but I haven't been on his channel. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've been a guest somewhere where he was also on the stream. That's happened to me a few times over the years. Just never on his channel itself. But who knows? Maybe one day that'll happen too, and I'll be very happy to be a guest should that happen. But in any case, regardless, really grateful for him sending the raid today to our channel. It always helps, and very, very nice of him, as I said.
Six says he's not going to fuck me. I was not lubing him up. I really do love Pro and his group that he's got over there. They're a lot of fun, and I've listened to their material many times.
Puts together a good show. I don't have any issue with them.
And Elizabeth Quinn says, as opposed to this chat, lol. No, we have a great chat too. I love our chat. I love everybody over here. But he Pro always has a lot of fun with the people in his chat, and so a lot of regulars over there, and he has a lot of fun with them. So. One more super chat here, then we can move on. We got another Kingdom 1996, £2. Please stop James Gunn DCU. I have no confidence. Same. I have no confidence that they can do anything worthwhile with this current James Gunn DCU. I think that. I don't know what to think of what they're going to do with Clayface later. Maybe that's good, maybe it's not, but it seems like it's almost just barely connected, right, to what they're doing in the rest of the James Gunn universe. But I think Lanterns is going to crash and burn. It is going to be a disaster, and I think next year, when we get the new Man of Tomorrow, which we were talking about, I think that's going to be a bomb as well. And I genuinely think, like, along with the merger and everything else that's happening, I think James Gunn is on borrowed time at this point.
Yeah, I mean, the only, like, he's hoping for some kind of miracle, First of all, he's probably hoping that maybe something legal will happen that helps him. You know what I'm saying? That they're gonna crush the Warner Brothers deal or whatever. But even then, I think he's in trouble. I don't think that there's any scenario that this guy is like anybody has faith in him and wants to continue to give him this kind of money to throw around and lose. Lost hundreds of millions on Supergirl. I don't think he's like in a good spot right now. So there's that. But in addition to that, he's hoping for some kind of problem with the merger. In addition, I think he's like hoping and praying that maybe one of these movies accidentally does well, like Clayface, maybe because it's horror and it costs less money. You can say, look, this made money. See, I may have lost on Supergirl, but look how this is making money. Maybe he's hoping that. Lanterns, I think, is a lost cause. I feel like that show is not going to do well. That's just my instinct. Maybe I'm wrong, and it surprises me, but there's nothing I've seen or heard about Lanterns until now that has given me the feeling that that it's going to be any good. And the fact that allegedly, and I'm going to be choosing my words very carefully, there may or may not be a studio that doesn't like when certain people talk about a certain show and things that may happen on that show, which we, of course, will not continue to talk about as a result. But the fact that there's so many people so eager to make people just stop having conversations about what may or may not happen on that show is certainly a red flag, if you know what I'm saying.
Agreed.
Usually when a show is good, you don't need to worry about people chatting about it. In fact, going and trying to stop people from talking about things that may or may not happen on a show, which are in a way speculative, to make an effort to battle that is not a good sign. It's not a good look and it's not a good sign. I don't know what studio I'm talking about and what show I'm talking about. I was just talking theoretically about something that we don't know what I was talking about. Because here at Price of Reason Studios, we often say things that are very speculative in nature. We don't know what we're talking about, and everything we said should just, be taken with a grain of salt because we don't even know what we were talking about.
Nope, no idea what we're talking about. We're just guessing.
We were not talking about Lanterns, that's for sure. Like if there's one show we weren't talking about, it was Lanterns. We're not talking about that show. It was a different show we were talking about. For whoever's listening from the YouTube algorithm team or whatever it is, we were not talking about that show. Lanterns is going to be spectacular. So that doesn't, we don't know what's going to happen with that. Clayface, even if Clayface does well, so what? What is that? Have you built the DCU around Clayface? What are you going to do? You know what I mean? Like how does that help? And then the last ditch effort, the last thing, he's doing the kitchen sink and everything on it, everything with it, or whatever you want to call it. Any character that he can throw into Man of Tomorrow and make it the biggest like Avengers celebration ever. That's what he's trying to do. Like the DCU Endgame or whatever it is, just hoping that people will want to come see it because there's so much interesting things going on that they'll just do it. And you know why I think he brought Blue Beetle?
He wants a bigger Latino audience.
No, I'll tell you.
I don't know.
Hold on. Caleb Levine says, just ignore what Price says like he ignores his chat. I don't ignore the chat. I like the chat very much.
He was saying earlier that Pro pays better attention to his chat. Tell you what, when this chat starts dropping $200+ per show in in super chats, we'll be paying more attention to the chat.
No, listen. I'm sorry. I should pay more attention.
I'm just joking.
I will take that comment under consideration. I will try to pay more attention to the chat. You're right. I could do better. Just like Captain Falcon says, I could do better. So I'll tell you what I think. This is all a numbers game. Let's say Superman. There's some people that went to see it, okay, and maybe they like it. Supergirl's a wash. I don't think there's anybody that liked it, so there's nothing you can do with it. Having her in your movie is actually now like a negative, in my opinion. You have that. So you have the people that may have enjoyed Superman, want to see like a sort of sequel to Superman. In addition, he throws a few people from Peacemaker. Now, Peacemaker already slipped and fell like in ratings in the second season, but maybe there's some people that like that show. It's enough that like now at this point, it's enough that he got a few people saying, well, I like Peacemaker and maybe I'll go see this Man of Tomorrow movie. So he's giving them a hope and feel that maybe that this is somehow continuing that show, which kind of ended abruptly because nobody was watching it. Then you have like Blue Beetle. That was a movie made a few dollars, didn't do extremely well, but some people like it. Some people like that, guy. Again, all of these things are things that people didn't like as a consensus. I'm just saying maybe you have a handful of people that liked it. So he's hoping that if he puts like 10 characters from like failing films, maybe the few people that liked each film will come see his Man of Tomorrow movie, and there will be enough people of like a regular film. Do you get what I'm trying to say?
Yes.
Like 10 films that, let's say, had 30 viewers each. If you if you put them all together, you have 300 viewers, which is better than just having 30. That's what I'm saying. It's like a numbers game. It's like the more I throw in here, the more maybe somebody will come watch it. Now, this idea worked well with the Avengers because, like, when they did the first Avengers movie, if there were people that didn't watch the first Captain America movie or didn't watch, the first Thor movie, maybe they went back to watch it. The difference is, though, the first Captain America movie was pretty darn good. You know what I mean? There was a lot to enjoy there. So if they went back and actually bothered to watch it, they run into a pretty good movie. And even if they watch Avengers and they like Captain America and they say, okay, well, I'll go back and watch this movie that I never watched it's good. It helps like strengthen the brand. But to be fair, before Avengers, you had enough strong movies for the solo characters that it's not the same thing as he's trying to do here. They weren't just a bunch of like miserable flops that they're all like trying to conjure them up for the Avengers. Avengers had enough like going for it, if you know what I'm trying to say.
Mm-hmm.
So that's why his Avengers is strange. It's like, oh, I'm putting everybody together. Like, but who are you putting together? So that was the whole thing.
Yeah.
The score for Nolan's The Odyssey, if you could call it a score, you will have you reaching. Oh wait, I'm going to. Supergirl's going to disappear. They're deleting her scenes as we speak. I'm going to send out a few invites now.
Yep.
1 second. Professor, tell some jokes.
Oh, tell some jokes. Well, you know what? If we're going to get started talking about the Odyssey, I guess I'll just go ahead and get started, just kind of giving my overall impressions before we. Then you can come back when you're ready. Yeah, I did go see this. In fact, I'd say I actually saw it 1.5 times. I saw it in the theater, and then yes, I did go. On a plane on my way to India, I did watch a little of it over again because there were some scenes I felt I didn't quite catch when I was in the theater, or some things where I couldn't understand the dialogue because, my God, once again, we have a movie from Christopher Nolan where they can't mix audio for crap. It's not the worst.
No, I think I've seen worse. Yeah,
there are worse Christopher Nolan movies than mixing audio, but there were a few scenes where I just thought, oh man, God, really? I can't hear what's going. I can't hear what they're talking about. I can't hear what's going on. But I would say it was not as bad as when I watched. Well, I mean, there's been other issues with other movies as well, but there were definitely some issues when I was watching Oppenheimer. Right, there were places where it's like there's just such like this cacophony of stuff going on, and I can't hear what people are saying. It's just mixed so poorly. This one was a little bit better. Although I will also say, someone mentioned in the chat, mentioned the score. Yeah, I hate it. There were times I was like, seriously, is the soundtrack behind what's happening here just somebody banging on trash cans with a rake? Like, is that what this is? Because it's terrible. It's just terrible. So, yeah, there were so many things about this that really I was not pleased with. But we'll get to some of those. We'll get to talk about some of those. But overall, a lot of people have been saying, oh, it's epic. It's so epic. It's so big. It's so huge. It's so massive. It's so epic. Yeah, it is really big. It also leaves out, for some reason, in a 3-hour film, leaves out big chunks of the original Odyssey story. Multiple characters just forgotten or compressed into other characters. There are things that happen in this we'll talk about. There are things that literally I almost laughed out loud in the theater at the absurdity of what was going on screen. Honestly, I was not particularly entertained. I felt like it was, for the most part, just kind of just over the top and how pretentious it was, just feeling how self-important the movie was. As I said on my little brief review that I posted on Twitter, Gunn's Superman isn't really Superman. Nolan's Odyssey isn't really the Odyssey. It doesn't feel authentic. It has way too much modernity sort of shoved into it. With all of that said, though, again, we'll talk about it, but I didn't hate this movie. I didn't walk out of the theater going, God, that was a disaster. Like, this was okay. There were scenes that I did actually really enjoy. Honestly, the scene that happens with Polyphemus, with the Cyclops, right?
I really like that scene.
I thought that it worked really well, was done really well. Hey, and at least there was a reason for that scene to be really dark as opposed to the rest of the movie.
Yeah, I still couldn't understand what they were saying.
Yeah, I know.
I never needed subtitles in the movie theater before my life. But yeah, like they left out major suitor characters, but they go all the way to Aeneid to make Sinon this.
Yeah.
Like, this is a $500 million campaign to give a trans person an Oscar. That's all the fuck this is.
Yeah.
I still have a headache.
You still have a headache from the banging and clanging and stuff.
I went to the Dobley Digital Theater, which I normally love.
God.
And I full disclosure, I have a pretty bad head cold right now. I don't know if you can hear it in my voice, but not feeling great. My wife is like, "You're nuts for going," and she's in bed sick, really sick now too. And my head, and I used to go see heavy metal. I'm AC/DC front row, Van Halen, Deep Purple. My head hurts like I went to, maybe because of my cold, but in this IMAX theater, which I normally love, the drums, the Travis Scott drums, I'm like, was there a soundtrack in this movie? And my seat is jumping up and down because they have the book kickers in them, which is not like great for a space scene, but not like 5 minutes of bouncing around.
Yeah,
I'm like, I can't take it anymore.
So this one didn't get me as much as Dune 2. Dune 2 in the IMAX theater was so loud, so absurdly boomy and bassy and just everything. There was a couple, an older couple, Asian couple sitting next to me in the theater. And at one point, like they had this soundtrack of the, big boomy whatever, and it was literally. I was uncomfortable. Like it was so loud, it made me uncomfortable. And I saw the guy next to me, and I kind of looked over, and we sort of just caught eyes together, and he just shook his head like no. And 5 minutes later, they left the movie and didn't come back. Like they couldn't take it. It was so loud and so just irritating. But yeah, I mean there was some of that in this. I was more bothered by the soundtrack than how loud it was. But yeah, it was.
Yeah, I missed a lot of the dialogue too.
Yes, absolutely.
I'm paying attention to the movie, and I'm trying to because I know I want to review it, but I'm paid my $20. I want to enjoy the movie. And a lot of the lines are going to catch you, like the end when Odysseus, his last couple of lines. I'm like, what the hell did he say? And I just reread the Cliff Notes of the Odyssey, so I am an expert on it. And but I was trying to, and I was listening to the audio book, and they did pick up a couple of lines from the poem that I recognized. Just the first parts that I'd read. So there was some good in this, but. My God, the soundtrack was abomination, and I have a massive headache.
Yeah, it's as if imagine the Battlestar Galactica reboot soundtrack being used for Star Wars. It worked for Battlestar, but it wouldn't have worked for Star Wars. It was like Dunkirk. It's this constant droning. It did actually give me a headache. I kind of think maybe. Yeah, and what it did, he was trying to raise tension in the scene, but what it did is it took me out of the scene and distracted me. So there are no spoilers other than the ones, given 3,000 years ago. But, they're about to open the gates of Troy and they're trying to make it suspenseful. And but all I can think of is like, there's a fucking bulldozer behind my seat.
Yeah.
And
there was nothing musical about it too. Nothing that really
yeah.
raised the tension. And as
Yeah.
I left, I'm like, was there a soundtrack even in this thing that I recognize?
Yeah.
Any themes? Or like I was saying before, like I liked I did not like Man of Steel, but I love the soundtrack to that. I have the Steelbook edition and love that music. And there was nothing here that was memorable. So, and it was annoying too. It was the other hand where it was like it took away from the movie.
Well, Ludwig Göransson is a guy where they've really built up this guy, and they're always like, the industry likes to always kind of glaze him now. People say I say glaze a lot, but I don't think I say a lot, but they do glaze him. I'm not saying he's terrible, Gordon
Göransson, Ludwig Göransson.
Ludwig Göransson, yeah. I'm not saying he's terrible. He's fine, but I also think that like the people rate him a bit more than he is. He's not bad, but like he's no John Williams, and he's no like Hans Zimmer or whatever it is. They're really trying to build this guy up as if he's like the next generation of that. But today, I haven't seen it yet. I haven't seen something that he's done that I felt is on that level. It didn't really bother me that much. The score, I don't know. In my theater, I have to say I did understand what they were saying. Although, to be fair, I have to tell you guys a secret. When I sit in a theater, have to have these kind of earplugs that like they're not exactly earplugs, but they filter sound. Do you know what I'm talking about?
Oh, those. Why have those? Their ear, like they reduce the decibels.
Yes,
I carry those when I go to concerts. I always have those, and people make fun of me. But
Yeah,
I protect my ears with those.
I have never needed those except for most recently we went to a Weird Al concert, and it just happened to be where our seats were. We were right in the blast zone for the downfiring speakers from above the stage, and literally my kids for the first like 20 minutes of the concert were like, I can't take it. And I said, I'm sorry, kids. I had no idea that we were going to be sitting where, like, just in the perfect spot to really get in with these speakers. And so, yeah, we were all just a little uncomfortable for about the first half hour of the concert, but we got used to it.
And then you went deaf, and it was fun.
And then we went deaf, and we were bleeding from the ears, but it was fine.
I want to explain. It's not just a decibel. It's something that certain frequencies it kind of filters out.
Sure.
So like higher treble frequencies or something like that, it sort of gets rid of a bit because like, I have a ear sensitivity problem. So I sometimes need that. And I always know when it's like an IMAX thing, even if it's not a Christopher Nolan one, I got to bring those with me because I know that like sometimes they start like, it happened to me not only in this movie. Anytime it's IMAX, suddenly there's something like that's really loud, and I have to be prepared for it. So I think that maybe it's a happy accident. Whatever I did to put these things in here, it filtered out some of those noises, and I could hear the dialogue probably better than the rest of the people.
Interesting.
You get what I'm saying?
Is this something you could buy off the shelf, or is this a prescription thing?
No,
I'm just curious.
There's probably people that do prescription stuff, but no, I think you can buy it on Amazon. I don't remember the name of it, but
I have the etymonic ones that were really good. But I'll be interesting to because I'm always into that kind of stuff. But my friends always made fun of me for wearing those, and now a bunch of them are deaf who went all
exactly
concerts with me. My friend Larry can't hear out of his right ear. He's like, I guess you're right, Mark.
No, it's these days. The thing that I use, it attaches to your keychain. It has a little thing that you open it up, and then like it's always on my keychain. So anytime, for example, there's a like Latin food restaurant, like a Mexican restaurant close to where I live, and I don't know. Usually they just play whatever music in some sound system, but from time to time they have people dressed as mariachis that bring their own trumpets. And they like stand next to me, and they're like da 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 like in my ear. So that really happens to me. So
No, I get that here too. It's a lot of that kind of music around where I live.
So then,
are they the eargasms?
What'd you say?
Are they the eargasm ones?
Yes, that's what I have. I think.
I do have eargasms. Yeah, we both had eargasms. Yeah.
So yeah, I think that's what they're called.
Simultaneous orgasm.
Yeah, they were simultaneous.
That's what I think they're called, and I have that, and it's on your keychain. You open it up, you put it in your ears, and then anytime there's like weird trumpets or IMAX or whatever, I always have like that thing, and I think I think that it helped, and it helped me today too. So I did actually understand the dialogue. The funny thing is, if we look at the beginning of the movie, so much has been said about Christopher Nolan's like casting choices and whatever it is. And when the movie started, especially like the first two scenes, first of all, the first scene is like Elliot Page. So already like my eyes are rolling. It's not.
Yeah.
It's not. It's not a great opening because it's like, oh, come on, dude.
We get like 30 seconds with the suitors right at the beginning. Yeah. Which is how the book starts, right? The book kind of starts with Telemachus and dealing with the suitors and everything at home. That's how the original story starts. But very very quickly it cuts to to Sinan, who is played by Elliot Page, getting stabbed through the chest with a spear.
Which was the best.
I'm not going to say I cheered in the theater, but I did maybe pump my fist a little bit.
Best part of the whole movie, besides Travis Scott getting an arrow in the neck.
Yeah.
I loved it. I didn't mention that in my review because
was it Travis Scott that got the arrow? I thought that was somebody else that got the arrow.
I listen. Okay, there's a boat. It's supposed to be full of Greeks. There's an Asian guy. There's a dude clearly.
That was.
I don't know who's who. I see a black guy. I assume it's Travis Scott. I have no idea.
I don't think that was Travis. Travis Scott was the storyteller who actually does start the movie. Yeah,
right. So right away, the movie starts and you see Travis Scott and Elliot Page, and I thought to myself, man, we're in for a bumpy ride. I was thinking of like, we're in for a bumpy ride, indeed. Like I'm thinking of like a short round, you know, and I'm like, man, this. This is really starting on the left foot.
Hold on, lady.
But Page's role is so small. Yeah, I could see where and their character is supposed to be a young boy that that wasn't supposed to go, and the lots get switched, and
right.
So and people back then were really short too. But yeah, it does take you out of it a little bit.
It takes me out of it a bit now,
but it's not it's not like a major role.
No. I will say this is that in spite of the early opening that I'm like rolling my eyes, very quickly they just stop showing that and they get on with the story. At least I'll give them that. The other thing is that I feel like the first maybe 30 minutes of the movie, I wasn't sold on it. Beyond the casting choices, it didn't really like draw me into the movie. I was still kind of like, ambivalent about it. But I will say this, the second that scene with Cyclops in the cave happened, it did kind of make me think, okay, well, I kind of like this. Yeah. So it started, at least at that moment in the movie, it got my interest, and my approach to the movie changed after that scene, meaning the scene at least built some credibility with me because I'm like, well, this is pretty cool. And then like I saw it, and I feel like then the movie had moments of like that Cyclops that I'm like, I like the way the scene looks. I like how this scene feels. I like the visuals. I like what was done here. But then there was other stuff that I'm like, well, I don't know if I like this as much. Yeah. And it kind of went back and forth. But I kind of agree with what Professor was saying. It wasn't the worst movie I'd ever seen. I think that if somebody walked into the theater expecting to see like the most faithful adaptation, ever, then they're not going to get it. This is very much like, Christopher Nolan's The Odyssey. You know what I mean?
Yes.
That's okay too in some ways. I think
it's fine. He's allowed to do that. I mean, it's fine. It is something that it's such an old, ancient kind of like source material that at this point he can do whatever he wants. He's capable of doing it. It's not something like he owns the DC brand and you have to stay true to this and that. And we can go out and make our own movie tomorrow. The only thing you think to yourself is that a director of his caliber that has a budget of $250 million for the production, I assume that there's people that are really into this book and they're purists and they want him to do like the most faithful adaptation ever. He's not giving them that. The other thing is that they don't have British accents, and it seems dumb that you're saying, well, why do they need to have British accents? Somehow in those kind of movies it's better to have it. The fact that they're sort of speaking more like colloquial American contemporary English is kind of weird. But I will say this, is that was also early on in the first 30 minutes of the movie. It was kind of bothering me. But at some point, I kind of just let it go. I mean, when I watch the 10 Commandments, Moses sounds like he's just some American guy talking. And the other people around him sound like that. So it's not impossible to get into a movie, even though it doesn't really do what you think it could do. And yes, like the casting of the is weird. The other thing is that I felt that throughout the movie there were moments where they gave the female characters a little bit of feminism, you know.
A little. Yeah. Oh, the line where she's like, oh, a woman can't be on the throne, an empty throne. I've been sitting on it for 20 years. Wow, wow, wow.
Right,
well,
right.
Lead
Yeah, that's way later.
Go lead an army, you bitch. Like,
yeah. So this is, you know, like you were saying, like it's okay if this is Nolan's adaptation of the Odyssey. That's not a problem. I mean, come on, there was what was it? Baz Luhrmann did Romeo and Juliet, right? Back in the 90s. Yeah. And to be honest, I didn't love it, but I didn't hate it either. I thought it was a unique idea to take it and put it in a different time with different characters. Oh, John Leguizamo was in that one too.
I liked.
Oh, brother, where art thou?
Yeah, and that's okay. That's okay. But it was his insistence that this was being faithful and you know, to the original text, that this was being this was authentic to the original story. If he had just left all of that stuff out and said this is, you know, this is our telling of the story, that's different. Right, but he's been insistent that this is faithful and everything to the, you know, to the original story, which is the thing that bothers me. Right, it's not, and that's okay. It doesn't have to be like you said, like, oh brother, where art thou? Right, you can have an adaptation of the Odyssey. In fact, we've had numerous adaptations of the Odyssey for centuries. Right, we had
and people don't always even realize that they're watching one.
Well, you know, the Romans adapted it, right? And then you had Ulysses, and you know, it's fine. You
James
can
Joyce.
Yeah, you can do that, right?
And I was reading about, you know, the backstory of the Odyssey, and not that I was joking, but I did read the Cliff Notes again from high school. I grabbed them because we studied it in high school. And, you know,
it's been a while. It's been a while.
So I'm like, let me read the Cliff Notes again. But the interesting thing is, this was, you know, first of all, they're not sure if Homer wrote the Iliad and Odyssey. Was he multiple people? And and also this was an oral tradition, so they think, some scholars think that maybe Homer, you know, wrote it down, but this is performed, so people go around and were paid to perform these epic poems. So it was told as a poem, you know, like around a campfire, or, you know, in various, you know, like, you know, I don't know if they probably didn't have theaters in the round like they did you know, much later, but you know, it was epic you know, storytelling. And so it's miraculous that this has survived, and it's a testament to what a great classic story is, and it's the basis for Western literature, you know. And of course they're trying to dump all this out of colleges, universities now. They're trying to get rid of the classics, but this has all the basic tenets of classic literature, and the romance, the epic hero, and the struggle, and the journey, and you know, the betrayal, and, you know, Agamemnon's murder, and you know, it's got everything in there. And you know, you know, they talk about how there's, you know, 7 basic stories that keep getting told over and over. And my God, I started listening to the audiobook, and it draws you right into this audiobook. Ian McKellen, I found the version of Ian McKellen is reading it, and it's damn good. I mean, it takes a while to get used to it, but you get into the rhythm, almost like when you read Shakespeare. I have much more of a trouble reading Shakespeare. When I watch it performed live, it comes to life, and that the change, you know, the dialogue, and you know, that old dialect. Although it was the common tongue back then, you know, everyone thinks Shakespeare is highfalutin. It wasn't. It was the common folk.
Yeah,
and,
he spoke.
It kind of melts like regular people, so that melts away in my mind when I see it. And like Tom Holland, I was wishing he had, like you said, his British accent would have maybe worked a little bit better. But although I did think he was good, you know, in this movie, but overall, it gave me a headache, and I didn't like it. I thought it was a slog. I did like a lot of the scenes, but at some points I'm like, oh, please get me out of it. Like when that windstorm, and I don't know, because I was I was not an IMAX, I was in Dolby.
A lot of the scenes are just of some of this, because a lot implies a majority of the movie. Like, I liked a few scenes.
No, I liked a few scenes. I was like, get me out of here, because I was, and my ears were killing me. I forgot my eargasms.
Yeah.
And, you know, I got to put my keychain, I guess, from now on. But it was brutal. Like that wind, you know, that storm, you know, Poseidon whips up. I mean, I'm like, oh my God, I can't take it. I'm like, and I felt like an old man, like, get off my lawn. And the drama and and you couldn't see what was happening. And this is like a I'm in a high-end movie theater. You couldn't understand the dialogue. I don't know if that was because it was Dolby versus IMAX, and it just yes, it's the Odyssey, but it slogged for me in a lot of places.
It really did. Yeah, it was. I would say the first. God, nearly the first hour, I was like, "Really? Oh,
Right.
can I get out of here yet?" And then, yeah, we did get the scene, with the Cyclops with Polyphemus. We got that, and then they moved on. There was some other stuff after that. We got to see, Telemachus starting to travel. We got to see the scene with Circe, which actually I think the scene with
good.
Circe might actually be my favorite bit in the film. I actually really who was playing Circe?
Samantha Morton. Samantha
Yes.
Morton. I hated that scene though, because the entire point of the scene was supposed to be temptation. Circe was a beautiful, hot young sorceress who wanted to sleep with everybody. This woman was an old hag.
Yeah, it was a very different interpretation.
No,
from
this
the
was a
original
more
books.
kind of modern day feminism weirdo.
It was, yeah. She's like, they were gonna attack me. They were gonna do things to me.
And
he's
She's like, we're not going to hurt you. We're not going to hurt you. We just need food.
Like, did my men hurt you? Well, they would have.
Yeah,
It's like, whatever. But I didn't mind it because honestly, a lot of this movie was very like dull, like the affect of the actual acting that was going on, and in that scene there was actually some like tension and emotion in the scene itself.
I mean, like I said, if you overlook the fact that this is a very different interpretation and it's done in the way that he wants to do it, if you kind of say, okay, this is what he chose to do, and you accept it as its own version of whatever he's doing, which I think he's allowed to do. I didn't. When I reached that realization and acceptance, I was okay with the movie for whatever it was. But again, like I said, if you walked into this just like Ista was saying now that he wanted this to be more faithful, if you're walking in and expecting any kind of faithfulness here, you're not really getting that. So I can understand why some people will denounce this movie and just be like, I hate this. I never want to see it again. I hate what he did here. And I can also sort of understand people that are like, well, this is like Christopher Nolan's Odyssey by Christopher Nolan. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Now, there was one thing I liked about it, and the Circe scene is a good example. It's like Barbie. They think they're being feminists, but they're showing the women as total kind of evil bitches, really. So, like, you think you're being feminist, but you're not really highlighting a whole lot of virtue to the women. She is the one who is the aggressor. Like, she assumes bad behavior before she actually looks at it. And I guess that's what the left thinks it's okay to do now. All men are rapists kind of thing. But really,
grape juice.
Oh, sorry. I thought we were in my living room having a conversation. The way, I mean, I think they think it's okay, but the women are not portrayed very well in this film, except for that little feminist manifesto she spat out. I thought Penelope was pretty awesome. I've never liked Anne Hathaway. I kind of like her now, warming up. I thought she was the best thing about this movie.
I thought she did fine. I think she, and actually she's an
I like
actress.
Anne Hathaway. I think she's a pretty solid actress.
Yeah. I just, for whatever reason, I don't know, maybe it's her mouth, is something about her has just always put me off. Never had anything specific against her. It's kind of like Meryl Streep, but she was so good. Although I think John Leguizamo was the real surprise highlight of this movie. He was fantastic.
He usually whines so much, and the thing is that his casting, without going around on the red carpet and blabbing, I'm a Latino man, look, they found a role for me finally. If he would have said nothing and he was just in the movie, everybody would, and he wasn't a guy that goes on the red carpet to whine every second, people would have been like, wow, that's a good performance, period. Nobody would have thought of anything else. Nobody would have said anything. Nobody would have mentioned a word about ethnicity one way or another. They would have been like, well, that was a good role. And it's so weird that a guy that actually put in a good performance here, and I actually think he did, spends so much time talking about DEI and whining all day. Just if you can put in a good performance, go ahead and do it. You know what I mean? Like, let your work speak for you instead of all this other shit. I was really Ista. It's good that you said that because watching this movie, I was baffled by that. It was in the back of my mind. I'm like, man, considering the fact that he just put in like one of the better performances in the movie, why does he whine all the time? You know what I mean? Like, why can't he shut up?
I don't know, but I was really shocked. He really was phenomenal in this, and but I got to tell you, like every other thing aside, the sound, the noise, the dreariness, the acting, Tom Holland and Zendaya single-handedly ruined the movie for me with their inability to act at all. Zendaya only had one face when she was getting decapitated that made me look like she even thinks maybe it's possible she can act.
Yeah,
like they were so terrible. That alone is enough to tank this.
It's that flat affect of how everything is delivered in this. It feels like there's hardly any emotion in anything that they're delivering. Again, it's not universal. There are some scenes where things are a little bit better and others where they're a little bit worse. But yeah, it's yeah.
See, I didn't Leguizamo takes me out of it because of all his whining and his voice.
He does.
I just can't picture him as a Greek guy.
Well, yeah,
with that accent.
That's a problem. Yes.
So I didn't think he was that good in it because it pulls me out whenever. I just think of him as another role, and maybe that's my fault. See, I like Holland a little bit more. Zendaya, she's got that expression, but she's really barely in it. I can see where you don't like her performance system, but Leguizamo, I'm just thinking of. I just always go back to him being in Spawn or just some other characters. I'm like, he doesn't disappear into the role like
no
Damon does. That's the problem for me.
Yeah, and that's the problem with these actors who can't do anything except go out there and shoot off their mouths and everything. They just sort of. They make it so they can't disappear into their roles anymore, and they stand out, and then it gets even harder to separate actor and performance at that point, right? It was funny you were mentioning Anne Hathaway because like I remember seeing Anne Hathaway many years ago as to when she was doing like her little teeny bopper crap like. Princess Diaries, right? Yeah. It was like, and but then later on, like I was like, whatever, I don't care about her. But then it was in 2012. She was Catwoman in Dark Knight Rises, although not a great film. I thought she did well in the role.
Something else rose.
But then, and then right after that, Les Miserables, which I love as a musical. The movie was a mess. But her performance as Fantine in that movie is phenomenal.
I don't hate
I love she did so well in that. And that was when I found out the amazing thing about Hathaway playing Fantine in Les Miserables. Not only did she perform it incredibly well, her mother was the original performer for Fantine on Broadway when it came to the United States, which is
maybe I saw
amazing.
Maybe when
I couldn't believe that when I found that out. I also thought she did fine in Interstellar. Again, a lot of problems with Interstellar, but she did well. I thought she did well in that movie, but yeah, there are some okay performances. There are some crappy performances in this. Like I said, a lot of times it just feels like they're just sort of reading the lines. There were some other big complaints too. I mean, if we're just talking about overall stuff. Yeah, go ahead, Bryce.
I want to focus on the performances a bit because I think that I wouldn't put Zendaya and Tom Holland in the same category. First of all, Zendaya does that thing where she does in every movie, and yes, her skill is limited. The good part is you don't see her very often in the movie, and I think the fact that you don't see much of her, at least you don't spend too much time with her character, if you know what I'm saying.
She doesn't even really have a character. Let's be frank.
But she is actually in some other scenes. But as I think, whenever they say, "Oh, you have the wise eyes of Athena," now in the books and the poem, the gods can change their form. They're shapeshifters. Talk about being transformers. So in the beginning of the poem, Athena is petitioning Zeus and the gods to let Odysseus come home. And Zeus says you can go talk to Telemachus, but she changes forms into one form is mentor, one form is another merchant, and is talking to Telemachus and plotting things. So a couple of times it was a good subtlety by Nolan. He said, "Oh, whenever Telemachus saying, 'Oh, you have the wise eyes of Zeus,' was that Athena there?" So yeah, it's not Zendaya.
Except he says that to like 3 different people in the
that doesn't
film.
matter to me.
But in the book, that was Athena in those moments.
No, there are no gods in this movie.
No, there's no gods in this.
Athena was a priestess that he saw executed.
Yep.
And he's hallucinating her as his PTSD.
Yeah, though she is his guilt. Is what she is in this film. She plays his guilt.
So she's not Athena.
No, she's not Athena.
She's a hallucination.
There are no gods in this. The only gods in this are 2 things. They are
Cersei's a witch,
3 things. They're nature and their superstition. That's all they are.
Yeah.
There is no actual like it in the original. Obviously, in the original, the gods play a huge role, right?
Yeah.
They're literally playing with Odysseus's life. They're like, hey, why don't you imprison that asshole? And then why don't you let him out now? It's fine. Like they're a big part of the actual story, but in this there are the gods are simply as I think I wrote in a thing, they're fate, nature, and superstition. That's what I wrote in my notes. And then Athena is nothing but Odysseus's guilt, because you only ever see Athena when it's through his eyes. And she eventually, like, you see the flashback to to that lady and being killed.
See her, like, I still think, listen, I'm going to say something controversial. I don't hate Zendaya. I think that she's like, she seems all right. I don't hate her. I think that she's in every movie when she doesn't need to be. I don't think she's the greatest actress. If she's in a small role where you see her a few times in a movie like she is here, it doesn't especially bother me. She wasn't required to do great acting because she simply wasn't in it much. Tom Holland had a bigger role. And I will still argue that although I sometimes share Ista's sentiments that I'm kind of ambivalent about Tom Holland as an actor, I think that as much as he could bring his A game, as much as whatever his A game looks like, that's what he tried to bring to this movie. I still think he's a better actor than Zendaya, and I still think he tried his best. The person, that actually surprised me more is Robert Pattinson, which I think that he gave a better performance than Tom Holland. And Pattinson is an actor that initially at the beginning of his career, I didn't rate him at all, but I think that he did a pretty decent job here. I think that John Leguizamo, like what you were saying, is also surprised. I'm like, man, I really was surprised by his performance. Anne Hathaway, I've never disliked Hathaway, and I've always thought she's a decent actress. I think she did fine here. Matt Damon, I wasn't sure how he would tackle it, and I didn't hate his performance either, to be honest.
Yeah, it was fine.
Tom Holland, it was still he did bring his A game, but it wasn't enough, and it was just so cringy. But I gotta blame Nolan for that, really, not Holland. But some of the actors, absolutely rose to the occasion. Now, I did think Twilight was very good, but if you notice, people are talking about like he's God's gift to actors. Like
no, I wouldn't say that. But I think
I know.
At least I'll give him one thing. Robert Pattinson seems to be a guy that initially I don't think he was a very good actor, but as he started getting opportunities with better directors, he started working on his acting. And I feel like, for whatever it's worth, it seemed like he got this role in the movie and he was like, I got to step up my game. Whatever stepping up his game is, that's what I saw in this movie. Is it the best performance ever? Do I give him is he Daniel Day-Lewis? No. But is he as pushing himself to the limit of what he can do as an actor, considering where he started and how I initially rated him? I think he's outperforming what I thought his potential was. Do you get what I'm saying?
Yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
And from Pattinson from the start, he just embodied that character. Like he, as Antony and how do you say his name? Antonius or Antinous? Antinous. Yeah, he's swarmy like from the start. So I really like the Batman movie, which is another unpopular thing to say, but he really embodies this swarmy, creepy guy with his facial expressions.
Yeah,
and right off the start, you don't like him, and he's not Zendaya has that one face that she always makes.
Yeah.
But Pattinson, you really hated the guy from the start. I'm like, wow, this is good acting.
He's playing a slimy weasel, and he plays the slimy weasel well. I mean,
and
I can't say he did a poor job of playing a slimy weasel. He's definitely, he's definitely awful, and there are times when you're like, oh, well, early on, you're like, oh, maybe there is some decency to him. And then he does really awful things like, trigger warning to those of you with issues with animal abuse. Whoa.
Oh,
yeah.
Pattinson
was able to disappear into this role for me. Where,
I think
fine. Right.
Yeah, and he wasn't he wasn't too emo like he is with Bruce Wayne, and he wasn't too twinky. He looked Greek. I actually bought him. Like, he looked exactly like the smarmy dude that he was. So
another guy that I thought was decent, although he kind of always plays a bit of himself, but I thought John Bernthal wasn't bad. I didn't hate seeing him in the movie.
Yeah, I mean, he's still Bernthal.
He's very much himself.
He still has his same
him.
mannerisms. The same line delivery that he does as Punisher, right? But it's fine. It worked for this role just fine. I don't have a problem with it. Right?
Okay. Yeah, I couldn't get past the clothing, like the outfit.
Yeah, that was one. Since you mentioned it, I'm going to get into it. This is something that I really took me out of the film. I did not like the costuming that they did in this. It's exaggerated. Some places, I think it borders on cartoonish, like science fiction levels of outfits that some of these characters are wearing. The Greek soldiers, they look like superhero outfits or something you would see in a Marvel movie. Agamemnon looked like a damn Power Ranger in that outfit. I'm sorry. It was awful.
Yeah, on my video, whenever I show Agamemnon, I have a little Batman symbol on his helmet.
Yeah, he looks like a superhero or a Power Ranger or Japanese like mecha or something. I don't know what, but it's absurd and it looks terrible. And then of course they had all the Greeks wearing black and all the Trojans wore white. Little symbolism there, perhaps. But yeah, no, I did not like the. And then later on they show what were they in? They don't name them here. They were the not Clystrian. No, Clytemnestra is the.
Clytemnestra is the wife of.
It's the Lystragonians, the giants.
Where
they show the giants, and this is the Bronze Age. And the Lystragonians are running around in iron plate armor.
Yeah, they look like Lancelot from Excalibur. It's fucking crazy.
Now, were they supposed to be supernatural, or they're just giants in this? I mean,
well, in the original book, there's the Lystragonians are the giants that they face. They're actually cannibals in the original books. They don't run around in armor and slaughtering people, but they do like. They chase down the crew and they kill a whole lot of them and they destroy.
What's their
a few
favorite
of their
sauce they like to use? A special sauce or honey mustard or with the poor Cyclops of he's like, I forgot my sauce. That scene was so brutal. But and the other thing is, weren't they like, hey, let's send a small landing party from now on, maybe just like a rowboat and not have everyone land on the shore.
Everybody. Yeah, I think they like long pig carbonara. I think is their preferred sauce.
Okay, yeah.
No, it was sorry, I boomered there. There were you notice one of the talking points was this is part horror movie. Like the body horror scenes I just thought were unnecessarily gross. I don't know.
Oh, you see, I didn't mind the Cersei stuff when she's transforming them to pigs.
That was interesting. Yeah,
I thought they did it well. It wasn't goofy. Like you've seen in some versions. Yeah, they didn't use a bunch of CGI, so you got to see them transforming. I thought that worked for me. I didn't have a problem there.
No, that part didn't bother me. It was more some of the Cyclops stuff. And,
Cyclops,
I thought Scylla looked so terrible. I'm like, dude, you need CGI because that looked like a bunch of turds reaching down eating sailors.
It was a rocktopus.
Yeah, what was that? Yeah, that was when the six sailors died. And Odysseus makes the sacrifice there where he knows if they go into the whirlpool, they're all going to die. But if they go the other way, that's classic, choice, when there's no easy out.
So Scylla and Charybdis, the rock in a hard place, right? It's the famous, the thing, like, we're gonna do. We can go here to this thing that kills us, or we can go to this thing over here that kills us, but maybe not as many of us. So make your choice, right?
But that creature did not look good. That was
no, it didn't at all.
I mean, the first jump is good, but then they should have panned out so you could have seen how big it was, or coming from the cave or something. Because I think I see what they're going for. They wanted that jump scare, but you didn't really understand what the creature was. And it's supposed to be like some kind of, kraken from the sea, I guess. But then you realize it's coming from
it's coming from the cliffs. It's like in its own cave, and it's just these big, long, weirdly shaped, amorphous tentacle things coming out. Yeah, it would have worked much better if it were like some sort of kraken or something underneath them that was reaching out and just snatching people, where all you saw was the tentacles, like grabbing at them or something. Having it come out of the rock like that, it was very odd and looked very strange. And
then Odysseus, he tricks the crew. He says, well, we have to go through the whirlpool, and the crew is like, no, what do you create? It's a minor mutiny there. But they did that. He kind of tricked them to go the other way. But then they realized the prophecy that you knew that. He knew, but that was the one choice he had to make. Now, the other thing I was thinking too was that could have. We're getting back to Zendaya. That she still could have been Athena, just taking that form of that priestess to torment Odysseus too.
Yeah,
right?
not in this movie though. I mean, like I said, even the cycle, they were just sort of mutants or monsters or something. There's nothing fantastical in this movie. She is a PTSD hallucination. So
because I'm wondering if usually the director will answer that, or you find out, because the guy, because there is magic and supernatural stuff happening in this movie.
But very like I said, almost like. Yeah, the pig thing.
It's very grounded, but
it's very grounded. Hamish Patel, who played Eurylochus.
Yeah.
Dude, the amount of disrespect he showed Odysseus, like he's supposed to be the wise voice of reason, not like a fucking nagging wife. He just irritated
that was
irritating.
Yeah, he's always kind of a dude.
Oh man. Yeah,
and not in a way where like Captain Kirk would bring Spock or McCoy and say, I need some hard advice here, but I'm going to make my own decision, and away from the rest of the crew. So with that whirlpool scene too, he overrules Odysseus, and Odysseus doesn't fight or complain or say anything.
Well, because he's using reverse psychology, and then even still he gets blamed. That's the thing.
Yeah. You don't have the right to make that choice. I didn't make a choice. You did. Yeah. You decided that we were going to go this way, and that those 6 men are dead now, right? That's not
right. Never takes any responsibility.
Yeah, but oh man. Okay, so as I posted on Twitter at one point, there was one point in the film where the absurdity got to me, and I almost laughed in the theater.
Oh, I think I know what it is. Say it.
There is so we have. We haven't really kind of walked through the movie, scene by scene. That's fine. If we want to, we can go back and do it. But
we'd be here till 7 a.m.
Yeah, well, I mean, we could not like scene by scene, but just like sort of section by section. We want
Major
to, but
scenes,
there was a scene after they have left. They've decided to leave Troy, and they're going to go to a different way. They're gonna take their own path. They're not going to follow the rest of the fleet. Because he wants to get home as fast as possible. So they're going to go a different way. And very first thing they do, one of the first things they do is they stop at this island and they pillage the whole island and burn all the, buildings and everything. And then say, well, why didn't you just welcome us when we came here? And the guy says, well, we thought you were the people from the sea who we've heard have been raiding and destroying buildings and stuff. And you have a black man in Greek armor translating for the, what should have been a, Italian or, Greek or something in the area, talking to an East Indian man in Greek armor. And he looks at them and says, we're not the men from the sea. we're Greeks from Ithaca. And I thought, oh,
allegedly.
Okay,
you got
I
a
do have
black
to say,
man and an Indian man saying, we're Greeks from Ithaca. Okay, sure.
in all fairness, I actually thought they burnt their own village while they were running away. I didn't think that Odysseus's men did the burning.
He did say something like that, like why did you abandon your village instead of welcoming us or something?
Yeah, but I
don't know why they would burn their own.
Yeah,
burning their own village instead of just running away. And
they burn it. But the honest truth is, I had a hard time understanding what they were saying. Again, it was the
yes,
I will still say that I think that Christopher Nolan did not need to do all that casting, all that kind of diverse casting. Not because I have anything against diversity or the actors or anything like that. It's just, it takes you out. It doesn't look like it's the right thing for this, whatever this is, for the time period and what it's going for. Even if it's like, fantasy or whatever you want to call it, I still think that these weren't good casting choices. And throughout the movie, there are enough moments that I see it and I realize it and it looks dumb to me, but I will still say, and for whatever it's worth, if I kind of block it out and watch the movie and try to see what he did there and accept that his adaptation is his own thing, I still will say that I didn't hate the movie. It's not that it doesn't have flaws. It's not a perfect movie, but there were at least elements of it that I, like I said, there were enough moments in it that I said I kind of like this. That for me, I didn't walk out of the theater thinking, oh, I suffered now watching it. It's almost like, if you want to know what I think, it's something of a missed opportunity. Because at the end of the day, a guy like Nolan, who's, in my opinion, a good director, he has the power to put together a production like no other director currently has the credit from Hollywood to do. He has $250 million. He can get any actors, he can get anything, he can do anything. And at the end, the fact that he feels necessary to do this thing, probably just to be eligible for awards and things like that, is kind of annoying. You know what I mean? What do you need all this? You already have your fucking Oscars. You have whatever you need. Just make the movie. You know what I mean? It's such a... There's something like an underlying pompousness about that.
Virtual signaling.
Yeah. I don't think he did it for the awards, though. I thought he did it because Hollywood basically got together and said, this is our last chance for woke and we need you. You're going to fit in. You want the cocktail party invites. You want to be really part of the club. This is what we need. I really don't think. And he's kind of, he did all those pink pussy marches. He's a feminist himself. I actually suspect his wife had more input on this movie than she ever has on anything else that he's done. And I didn't hate the movie either, but it did feel like work. I would much rather watch War of the Worlds from Amazon over again. I think you could probably edit this down to 90 minutes of decent, but it's hard on the eyes. It was such an ugly thing to look.
It's barren.
It's really dark.
Tech, because this is the first movie that was filmed entirely in IMAX. But you don't get any gorgeous scenic landscapes.
It's flat and it's great. The first moment, the triumphant moment when he has finally returned to his island. He's finally returned to Ithaca. It is on a gray gravel beach surrounded in gray fog with gray mountains in the distance. It is the blandest.
Your home,
it looks like a swamp. It's absolutely. But listen, see, this is how Nolan sees ancient civilizations. These guys were colorful. They built temples out of marble and gold and filigree, and they liked clean stuff. Everybody here is living in Bin Bab's cave, it's like he has no respect for it. He doesn't anywhere come close to appreciating the achievements of ancient Western civilization. He makes them all look like freaking cavemen.
For all the big deal about the IMAX film, which I love the idea of the technology behind it. And we used to have a big real IMAX screen in Norwalk, and they tore it down, but it was one of the 30 ones in the country or in the world. But it's like a 6-foot tall theater. So I saw Rogue One there. I saw some, Dunkirk there, and a bunch of other. We'd go. They'd have special screenings. Oh my God! It just, even if the movie is not great, but usually they have good movies. for the IMAX presentation. But wow, I mean, it just blows you away. And he didn't really. There was nothing in this that I could say, wow, the scenery was. He used this IMAX camera to the max, and wow, that scene. Did you guys ever? Was there anything in this movie that really grabbed you visually? You said, wow, that was epic, or that was beautiful.
I did like the Cyclops scene.
Yeah.
Okay, but it was very contained, and it wasn't like a grand, it was filmed well, but it wasn't.
The Troy thing was, I think, when he starts thinking of the battle there were things I didn't hate everything, and the final scene there with the suitors and him with the bow and whatever, I didn't hate everything. I again, I accept your criticism. It is the colors are rather kind of dull, and they're not
they're muted
in places where he could have really highlighted color and things like that. He didn't do it. Strugun says, sounds like you guys are having pretty mixed feelings on the film. I can't speak for the others, but I can say that for me it is, because there's moments that this feels like a solid production with some interesting ideas and things that I genuinely like, and then it's followed up by moments that I'm like, well, this probably could have been better, and it's really not what I had hoped for. You want it to be perfect, and I don't think that it's a perfect movie. But
no, some of the ocean scenes I thought were pretty gorgeous.
Yes,
some of them looked terrible, but the ones where the water actually looked blue, and they pulled back, were kind of epic. And
agree with you.
Here's my problem with the finals, the suitor confrontation, and this is kind of spoilery. So if you guys in the chat don't, I mean, we
spoilers
all know
for a 2,000-year-old
episode. Yeah. But see, that's my part where Matt Damon is not really playing the real Odysseus, a brilliant tactician and master strategist. In the book, in the poem, he's setting a psychological trap for the suitors. In the movie, it's more just like a methodical little booby-trapped bloodbath, and everybody moves the weapons. He's really fucking with their heads in the book, but because they're telling it non-linearly, you don't get to see sort of the suspense of the psychological machinations and how he's messing with them. They just don't play Odysseus like the brilliant genius that he was, and that makes him to me less heroic.
Yeah, and there's so many other issues with this, right? The characterizations feel off. The lack of the gods as an actual power in the story. It's just sort of chance and fate that tends to make things happen. I had right from the beginning, I'm just kind of looking back through my notes, like, how do you cast an enormous bronze statue of a horse on a beach?
Yeah.
Well, wasn't the horse wood?
The horse was wood, but not here. It's a huge bronze statue.
Oh, you thought it was bronze? I thought it was wood in the movie. I still have a headache from it. So
I think it looks to me like it's a huge cast bronze statue.
But I thought it was wood. But
it would have. It's some amazingly crafted wood if it is, because and then how did you do that? How did you? Because it's like the reason it's been sort of shown as this rather boxy sort of plain wooden thing, and is because that's how it's described in the Aeneid. It's basically made out of local trees and timber from some of their ruined boats. That's what it's. So it's
now listen, if you go and you look at the the Armand Assante version, like the Sack of Troy is done incredibly cool, the way they sneak out of the horse at night.
Yeah.
In this, I did like the scene when they finally open the gates and they come in, it was kind of nice, but in Troy too, and Troy the movie, Troy is 10 times better than this stuff. I was really, and it's pretty beloved now, but it was sort of mixed reception when it came out. See, I think this is going to be mixed, but it's not going to get any better with age.
No, there's going to be plenty of people who are going to be thinking, talking about how this is an instant cinematic classic and all this stuff. I don't think it's that. I don't. I get, you said mixed feelings about it. Yes, absolutely. There are things in this that I really did enjoy. I mentioned a few of them already. We haven't really focused on any particular scenes yet, but I thought that the stuff with the Cyclops with Polyphemus, I thought that scene was played really well. I thought it worked really well, and I am immensely indebted to Christopher Nolan for not inflicting Cyclops dong on us in that scene. I really do appreciate that, Christopher Nolan. Thank you.
Yeah, not like the Watchmen.
No. No.
Yeah, he was big and blue, but he didn't have any, swinging.
And he wasn't wearing clothes. The Cyclops was not wearing
naked,
clothes.
but they, they covered it up.
Now, I want to ask you, have you guys noticed this? Because I definitely noticed this. Like, as well as Circe, Calypso is also some temptation. She's supposed to be a beautiful, immortal, magical nymph. Now, Charlize Theron in her day could have nailed that role. Vanessa Williams did well. But, she kind of Botox face and a little bit of a Ozempic thing going on.
I thought she looked pretty good in this one.
I thought she was fine.
I still think she would have made a better Helen. I think she would have been better at that role.
Have you noticed nobody has talked about her? Nobody's bringing up her performance or the role. Like everybody else is getting mentioned. I haven't heard anyone bring her up.
Good point. Yeah, that's true.
I thought she was fine. She didn't bother me. You just whatever you see her, she's fine. I don't think that she ruined it for me or anything. And I would have, I would have given her the Lupita role. I would have given her that thing.
Yeah. I still thought, man, she's past her. She's not quite Nicole Kidman level of.
No, she's not that. She's not in the Nicole Kidman level. Yeah, when you see her on the red carpet, she looks like she's doing weird Ozempic stuff, and it's a shame because she's a very pretty lady. So even if she's getting older, I really don't think she should do that. But that's just my personal opinion. But what did you think of Lupita in that role as Helen?
Well, Clytemnestra and Helen, or just Helen, or separating, like
whatever, or dual role, whatever it is. What do you think of that?
I really thought she knocked me the fuck out of any immersion I ever had a chance of being in. It just she was just kind of like, she was a bit feral when she was playing Clytemnestra.
Why did they have her as a twin? She's not a twin in the text.
Yeah, well, it sort of negates the idea of her being the most beautiful person in the world, since there's someone else who looks exactly like her. She wasn't in it long enough to. It certainly knocked me out. It was just it's just like seeing the Asian guy on the boat. You know, it's like, well, that's odd, and then it's gone. So it's not
right.
Really.
It literally in every scene where you see her, she just looks pissed off.
Yeah.
She just looks angry and vicious. Like she doesn't want to be where she is. She hates everyone around her. Like, I know, come on. I know the whole meme of, smile more or whatever, but seriously, we're supposed to believe she's the most beautiful woman in the world, and she only ever has a scowl on her face.
Well, you only see her after she's back from the war, though, too, right?
Well, but this is the same as, Clytemnestra, the twin sister, right? It's...
Yeah, listen, you could tell Nolan was really reaching to give her something to do and something to say. He virtue signal casted, but she's not really in the story. So he had to just kind of come up with weird shit for her to do. And it didn't flow with some of the rest of the story. A lot of it didn't flow. Some of it did. I'm not going to give this a 1 or a 2. I'm hovering somewhere between 5 or 6 out of 10. But it was also long and it wasn't fun, and I doubt I'll be ever revisiting it.
Yeah. The things like the modern American accents in it just really, you talk about things taking you out of the film. That took me out of the film.
Permanently. Some people say they got used to it after a while. I never did. Every time somebody spoke, it was just
I did get used to it. I mean, I think that wasn't the choice that I would have chosen, but I kind of just accepted it at some point, just like the strange casting and stuff like that. It's like, I accept it for whatever it is. I still have that criticism, and I still think that Nolan could have just easily not done that stuff and done better. But at the same time, I didn't, and I will still say it. I watched the movie. I wasn't bored by it. Maybe the first 30 minutes I was like not excited, but then as I got into the movie and just accepted things for whatever they were, I was able to enjoy it for whatever it is. It's by no means, it's not like I don't think that it's the best thing that ever happened, but I wouldn't give this a failing grade. You know what I mean? I think it's decent, even if it's a missed opportunity.
If you Bowl made it, I wouldn't fail it, but because it's 500 million all in,
yes, the money is a factor here. With that kind of money, you need better.
I'm failing it.
There was one bit we're just talking about the accents just for another moment. There was one bit. It was after they left the Cyclops Island. They're talking about how, he's a son of Poseidon. Did you hear him praying to Poseidon, whatever? And there's a guy in there that I swear to you, he goes, yeah, I heard it too.
I didn't catch that, but yeah.
My favorite was when Odysseus was addressing the troops in the most Boston of Boston accents, and he's like, there, okay, get in the car, boys. Like, I just fucking,
it's in the yard.
Like Lupita, as you were saying, she's barely in it, but like, I just don't think she's that pretty. I'm a dimensionally challenged old dude, but she just doesn't do. I mean, the casting didn't bug me as much, or I think it was much ado about nothing in the long run. But I can see where people are upset about it. But she just doesn't strike me as that gorgeous, face is going to launch.
I don't hate the way
ships.
she looks. I think that she looks like cute or something. I don't dislike how she looks. I just don't think that
she's not ugly.
I don't think that she needs to be in this role. But when I saw her in like Black Panther, I thought she looked fine, especially in the second one. I don't love it. I don't love it when women shave their head. That's really, I don't love that. But in the second Black Panther, when I saw her, I thought she looked pretty. I mean, I don't have any issue with it. It's just, there's no reason to cast her in this role. It takes you out of the movie. It feels out of place and strange, like the Asian guy on the boat and the Indian guy and whatever. These are all things that are just, they don't add to the movie. They don't add to the movie in any way. They're unnecessary. And they're just, like I said, it just feels like that, like people were also saying here, and you guys were saying it in the chat, it just feels like unnecessary virtue signaling from a director that doesn't need it. You know what I mean? He doesn't need this at all.
But Odysseus needed tech support, man. So
well, there Ethiopians are mentioned in the poem, and
that's not Ethiopia though. That's Joppa. That's the Middle East. It's not the modern Ethiopia.
Not considered the modern Ethiopia. And then and don't they mention one of the guys on the ships? Doesn't he kidnap a person from China or Asia, and that's one of his punishments? In the poem, I'm trying to recollect the poem as I just read it, but
I just watched Clash of the Titans over. The actress who played Andromeda in that, the 1981 one, Julie Boker. Oh my god!
That was my 13th. That was my 13th birthday party. I'm going to Catholic school, so all my buddies, we get in the car. Mom drives, about 6 or 7 of us, and that scene where the princess or the priestess comes out of the water.
No, that's her. That's her. Yeah.
She's topless, and my mom's arms like fly out, trying to block all our eyes, and we're like, she was not successful. That's one of my great memories with my friends. Like, remember your mom tried to block all our eyes? No.
She was supposed to be naked, chained to the rock, but the British reviewed the script ahead of time and said, if you do this, we won't allow the movie to be played in England. So they put her in a robe. The script had her being naked on the rock. We could have had, I think it's Judy Boker. Yeah, we could have had a full nude one. But
my mom would have really walked us out of the theater. And she had to apologize. She apologized to all the other moms. It was a big scandal to Catholic school because it would have been a PG movie.
For more than just a flash of that, I mean, it would have been an R rating.
I think Lupita Nyong'o, I'm not saying she's ugly, but remember, Black Panther's like 10 years ago.
Yeah.
It was kind of cute.
That's fair enough.
Well, just remember that in this movie, she is not the face that launched 1,000 ships.
Yeah, she
lost 500.
She launched it. Yeah, her face is all scarred up now. So he makes a joke about her face being the ship that launched 500 ships. But in reality, in this film, in this telling of the story, it was never about getting back Helen, who had been kidnapped and was this beauty or whatever. No, this is all about the masculine ambitions of Agamemnon to change the shipping routes and take control of the oceans and whatever. So it's all about politics,
the trade wars,
and
it was
from the Phantom Menace. Yes, yeah.
But that's true, because that's a big diversion from the book, because they go to war to bring back Helen, and why did they add this quote unquote junk to it? And there's a real anti-war message, in this movie, and then they flipped the Trojan horse to being something that's defying the laws of Zeus, which was an interesting take. I've never thought of that before, but
that was his.
Basically, they made the Trojan horse as an evil device, but aren't you trying to get Helen back and win the war?
Yeah. And that's absolutely. That is one of the subversions in this versus the original text, is that they are making it out essentially so that it was Odysseus and the Greeks that violated the norms of war by using a trick, using some sort of subversion to get inside the walls, and that was the great sin of Odysseus, right? Was that he violated these norms that they call the law of Zeus, whatever, and he set loose that evil on the world, and that's why
Pandora's
there's all these
basically, right?
Essentially, that he was the one that truly violated the laws of Zeus. That's why there's all these raving bandits and everything taking over the world, is because he used some deception to get into the walls and into war.
Yeah, well, they are the raving bandits. That was the
they are, yes, that was, and that was the way that that I don't know how early you guys picked up on that, but they kept talking about the people from the sea, and I'm like, you are the people from the sea. You're the ones who are showing up, doing all these, pillaging and graping and whatnot.
Except they're not. They were pretty well, but like I said, they were asking for food. Like Odysseus's men were.
Odysseus's men were, but the rest of the Greek fleet not so much.
Yeah, Agamemnon is always an asshole, but the laws of Zeus don't apply. Like, the thing is, they were commanded by the gods to go to war too. The laws of Zeus are in your home country to your own guests. Like, but you're right. They just turned it into like, all war is bad, all man bad. And, women can't be king kind of, that was the, so for every good thing, for every part of this movie I might've found enjoyable, there were three things that just irritated the shit out.
Yeah, because one part that I had read too was that maybe ancient Greeks, the theory was they were matriarchal society. So Odysseus's father is still alive, who had abdicated the throne, passed it on to his son. Yeah. And Telemachus, the son, is alive. So none of them can take the throne. So some of the scholars I was reading said, well, it was a matriarchal society, so the women had all the power. So it was only who was married to the queen could be king. So and that was a point that they but then she gives a speech in the end, Penelope, like, I've been sitting on this throne and I don't have any power. Like, you're the queen and you hold all the cards.
Women own the land, I believe. It was one of the things they based that really bad Star Trek episode on. But
so then
but here's the thing. They are blaming Odysseus, the classic ultimate, ancient Greek hero. They are literally putting the entire fall of the Mycenaean civilization on his shoulders, and that's bullshit.
Yeah, and it was Pandora. It was a woman who released Pandora's box, not Odysseus, right?
That's a great name for a strip club, by the way. If you ever have a Pandora's box in your town,
we had Beamers in our town, and they didn't sell BMWs. And it was right next to the plumbing supply shop, so you could park there and not get caught. Yeah, but I mean that's a there's minor things in it, that could. But that was a pretty major plot twist at the end with Odysseus's PTSD and his guilt over that.
Can I talk about the ending, because I don't know now by this point if anybody's here,
Can I ask Professor a question real quick before you do?
Sure.
Mm-hmm. What were the three for you said? It was superstition, nature, and what else?
So yeah, I mean it's basically nature, superstition, and fate. That is what the only role in this for gods. They aren't actually gods. It's just that men are looking at the weather, or they're looking at, whatever, chance, whatever, that happened to them, or, they're looking at, just their own superstition. That is the only way that the gods have any role in this film, aside from Athena, who specifically is Odysseus's guild.
Yeah. Okay. I couldn't remember fate. That's all, but that was a good catch. So I wanted to remember that.
I wanted to ask about the ending.
Yeah.
Honestly,
the final fight there pretty good. I thought that was really well done.
I was talking about the very last scene.
Oh, okay.
Oh, when he abdicates and sails off?
Yes. Is that doesn't seem like that's a new kind of interpretation, right?
That is entirely new interpretation. Yes.
Yeah.
And what was the point of that? Why is he doing that? I was
okay. In the book, he's commanded by Poseidon to make up for his sins, to take an oar from his ship inland all the way far enough to the point where nobody knows what the ocean is. Once he's there, he buries that, says a prayer for his fallen men. He's forgiven. He does that, and he goes back, and he and Penelope live happily ever after.
Yeah.
Right.
In this one, he says he's going to sail west to honor his men. At least he took his freaking wife with him. And then Telemachus becomes king, which he didn't marry a queen. So how does that work? But so it's basically all that work to get home, and now you're leaving again. Although it was really to get back to Penelope. So I didn't mind the fact that their relationship was that strong, actually. So as long as they're together, but it was just sort of weird and pointless. But the idea was that, and remember the dialogue, one of the things I heard, they're acting like civilization has already fallen, and they need to sail off to rebuild a new one. And they're going to start with songs to remember, the rules and the stories. And it's almost like they're sailing off as Adam and Eve. It's a weird, I don't know what's in
was. Because, of course it doesn't make sense because, there's in the original, Odysseus goes to visit his father, right? In the original, who is still Laertes.
Yep.
Goes to visit his father, and then while he's doing that, all of the suitors that he didn't kill all decide that they're going to get together to get revenge, or their families get together. Part of that, I don't remember exactly, but then Athena shows up basically and chases them all off, or makes peace with them, or something like that. And that was the original ending of the tale. But they didn't do that. There's this whole thing with
was he leaving Middle Earth to go sail to the west with the elves?
Yeah,
my idea, Lord of the Rings ending there. Sail off to the west.
My idea was that it was a self-imposed exile for killing all the suitors. They made a big deal about if we kill these guys, we'll be exiled by the powerful families. So I guess the idea was he and Penelope took a hit so Telemachus could rule. But the whole thing was that Ithaca needs its king back as civilization. His king comes back and then he leaves.
And if we were shown anything in this movie, it was that Telemachus ain't ready to be king.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay? He gets his ass kicked repeatedly. He manages to finish off one guy during that fight after he gets cut up and stabbed a couple times.
Yeah, because in the poem he's almost able to string the bow. He barely, he just misses. Yeah. And they didn't show that. And Sparkly Batman didn't even get his chance either. He
wouldn't do it at all. Yeah, but that was it was kind of clear that Telemachus was not ready to be king, and they're we're gonna do it anyway because we're gonna sail off to whatever.
Props to Matt Damon for getting jacked as fuck for this role. And
he was jacked.
He did. 0% body fat. So, like I said, he was the biggest surprise to me. I still don't think he was right, but he wasn't near as bad as I thought he was going to.
I got used to him. I don't know. I thought he was okay. I understand. There's probably other actors they could have chosen, and I also will say that I like it better when they have British accents and things like that.
Yeah.
There's a lot of stuff they could have done differently, but if that's what they cast and that's what they did, I think Matt Damon is not a terrible actor in general. I think he's also an actor. I was talking about Robert Pattinson. I also think he's the type of actor that over the years has improved. I don't think he was ever terrible, but I think that he's like, from movie to movie, kind of steps up his game and does different things. I don't think that he's a bad actor, and I don't think that like I watched this movie and thinking, oh, Matt Damon ruins it. I think it was fine. I don't have an issue with it.
Matt Damon was fine, but
but
was again,
better than I thought, and I did get used to him too, kind of by the end. But man, like Oscar Isaac or fucking what's
Pedro? If this had been Pedro Pascal, oh my God!
Oscar Isaac is a good actor, by the way.
Yeah, I do like Oscar Isaac.
Hey man, Damon was great in Good Will Hunting. He does have some versatility.
Yeah,
but I had made a list of guys like the guy who played Livermore in Oppenheimer, not Ashton, it's Josh Hartnett, and I was thinking, who's the guy from Mad Men, John Hamm. Like there were guys that really could have rocked this role. I got used to them, but it did take about an hour, and that's an hour of the movie where I'm like, man, this really
for me, 30 minutes until I kind of really got into this movie in general. Like I was really concerned in the first 30 minutes and kind of, I don't know if it's 30 minutes. When was the Cyclops scene?
That was pretty early on, I think. The Cyclops
that was
half hour, maybe.
No, 45 minutes into it.
So 45 minutes, I had a lot of issues, and I was just thinking, is this movie going to really, come together in a way that's like decent? And that scene started like putting it on a path that like I suddenly was interested in what I was seeing, and felt like that I liked that scene. It bought goodwill for me. You know what I mean? Like the second that scene happened, like the credit went up for Nolan. Like I kind of said, okay, well, let's see what happens now. So I don't know. I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, it was difficult to get into this movie at the beginning.
Yeah, he would have gotten more credit if I could have seen what was going on and understood what was going on. But I thought even scenes like that kind of slogged a little bit. The overall pacing, like for cutting so much out of the story, he certainly like took his time getting stuff done.
Yeah. Oh, another casting that was interesting. I'm a hockey fan, so Sean Avery was actually one of the shipmates. And I was just checking the cast list. So he's been in a few Nolan movies. So if you're a hockey fan, he was the guy that was trying to block all the goal, block the goalie in the Avery rule. So I wonder if he was one of the guys that got eaten by the giant squid. It is a very, I did not like this movie. I don't want to go see it again. So I got to talk to my better half, and hopefully she won't want to go on Saturday because I don't know if I could sit through it again, or I'll bring my eargasms.
Yeah, there you go. Just bring some earplugs.
It just was. They're good moments, they're flashes, but I didn't think they made enough use of the IMAX camera, and it just didn't do it for me. I just and so like I love the sword and sorcery, and I know Nolan's dark and depressing, but there was no life to it. Like when you watch one of the old Harryhausen movies or Clash of the Titans, there's a brightness to it, there's a cheeriness to it, and this was just such a Debbie Downer movie. And yes, it is a deep, horrible story in so many ways, but there was nothing uplifting. And even the ending, yes, he sails off into the sunset, but it wasn't even like a happy thing, like, hey, mom and I are going to go on a vacation and you're in charge, or we'll be back. Or it was all very very depressing. And
didn't you love the reunion of Odysseus with Argus?
Oh, that's always a heartbreaker, man.
Yeah, he meets his dog and the dog immediately dies.
Yeah, well, that scene brought a tear to my eye.
Yeah, that's how it always
goes. I actually
like
that scene.
Yeah.
I also like that, that then Telemachus, saw him doing this, and then
that's how it happens in the original story.
And
he's recognized by Argus, and that tips people off. Yeah,
but he's recognized by the slave, not Telemachus. Telemachus is not there. He doesn't see in this story.
Yeah, and there's another slave that recognizes him from the scar. Right, and that is actually in the original story as well.
Yeah, and they had that in the movie. So my quick list of picks for would have been Josh Brolin, Clive Owen, John Hamm, Mads Mikkelsen, and Josh Hartnett, and Lee Pace. So
Lee Pace is a great actor. Wow, Lee Pace is so good.
He is.
I like Lee Pace.
Yeah.
There are a lot of
Hulk
guys
and Catch
that,
Fire. God, he's great in that.
yeah, there are a lot of guys that are too old to play, but obviously wouldn't. Or hell, man, I'd get Sean Bean back.
And plus, you do have the 20-year, jump in this movie too. So most of it takes place towards the end, but you do have the flashbacks. But
Yeah.
Anne Hathaway did look a little bit older at the end of
Yeah.
the movie with the makeup, which I thought was it was subtly done.
Yeah, so did Damon. Actually, I thought Damon made a better older Odysseus than he did younger. I kind of bought into him more with the gray and the beard
and yeah, like you said, he was in good shape, and that was believable. Him as a kick-ass. Like I started watching the Kirk Douglas 1950s version, which I recommend everyone watch, and the Armand Asante version is also excellent. But Douglas is he's in great shape back then too. But he's believable in that role as well. Yeah.
Yeah, I wouldn't recommend The Return because it's based on the same bullshit. Emily Wilson. But Ray Fiennes, who's not fat at all, lost 30 pounds he somehow lost weight and put on muscle and just became like a guy who looked like 100-year-old rope. So, he's quite impressive in the movie as Odysseus, but talk about a dreary
I haven't
slog.
seen that one. That wasn't good either. The Ross Fiennes. What's it called? The Return, or?
Yeah, it's called The Return, and it's twice as depressing as this one is, if you can believe.
Oh God.
Kodo Rav says, give Gerard Butler another shot at playing Greek. He was good in 300. Funny you should mention him.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I have a friend who has this great Gerard Butler story. Made me laugh it really did make me laugh my ass off. You should tell it again.
I was thinking about that price. Do you think he was doing a performative art thing just to try to trick you?
It could have been like an Andy Kaufman type of thing. You know what I mean? Like he's just trying to. He thought it was funny. For some reason, this amused him in whatever world he lives in. I think that probably the joke was on me.
Right?
I suspect that that's the case. I don't have any way of knowing for sure. Just by his comment at the end there, I suspect that there was kind of a sort of he some people are like that. They like to troll other people or whatever it is. I suspect that was the case.
Let me troll this puppet with the crown on his head. Yeah.
It's fine. You know what? He thought I was interesting enough as a person that he wanted to troll. I'll take that as well, I guess.
Right? Yeah. It was a great story. It was fun. But yeah, these actors are strange characters, right? So you
totally,
never know.
Yeah. What was it? Wasn't there some weird Miley Cyrus news that just popped up in the news?
I hadn't heard anything.
Yeah, so I'll have to look some kind of. I don't know.
I don't think she's hot, by the way. I don't like she's not my cup of tea.
I don't want to like she's hot. She's not mine either. But there's certain sides.
You're a strange dude.
It bothers her face. It bothers me.
You're old enough to be your grandfather.
Yes. She's got that great voice. Yeah. Oh, and Darcipio is asking me, is Godfather Scarface up? But but Scarface, he goes on a blaze of glory in the end, and Godfather's got some great. It's just this was such a slog, and it doesn't have to be uplifting, but it's just. I don't know. I just really didn't like this movie, and I love The Godfather. I love Scarface. So, and the movie gave me a freaking massive headache too. My ears are still ringing, so that didn't help either.
In my defense, I started out as a dirty young man. It's like, and so I naturally am a dirty old man.
Listen, I'm probably old enough to be like her father as well, but I'm just saying that, she's not for me. Like I'm old enough, I could probably in some countries be Sydney Sweeney's father, but still, at least she's hot. You know what I mean?
You know how there was that senior citizen crime spree in Florida, and everybody's asking what's making the people all turn to crime? And it's like, no, they've always been criminals. They just got old. It's
I love this one story I always love to tell. I'm driving down the street, and we live near where people go jogging a lot. And this was years ago, but you could see people are putting on their brakes, and in the long distance, I see this girl wearing spandex outfit, and she's got a figure like Sydney Sweeney, basically. And as I get closer, I'm people are brake checking, slowing down to watch this girl jog. And as I get really close, I'm like, oh shit, that's my sister's friend who's like 20 years younger, and people are I knew her, when she was like 5. I'm like, those horny bastard, those old men that are all brake checking. I won't say her name, but I told my sister. I didn't tell her friend, but I'm like, when so and so was jogging, she was stopping traffic, and if you saw a picture of her, you'd maybe I'll show her in the Twitters, but if you'd know why. But yeah, it's all right. You get older, you're just Miley Cyrus is old enough right now, Wista, so you're okay.
Well, it's something about her eyes. I like I said, she's got these skanky tattoos. That's a turnoff. But
yeah,
I think your eyes are kind of gorgeous. I'm not gonna lie. I wish I didn't feel this way.
Ista and Miley sitting in a tree. Okay,
he doesn't want to feel this way.
He doesn't want to. Yeah.
This is fake, but I guess people have been sharing it.
Oh my God, I've seen this.
I don't know why this made me laugh. Probably it shouldn't, but the thing that made me laugh is that if you told me this was real, I wouldn't even be surprised. I'd be like, of course that this is the cover. But then people are like, no, it's fake. I'm like, okay. It's like,
yeah, it's totally. I mean, if you just look at her, look at the face, like it's totally wrong.
Right, yeah, right. But I will still say that, like, we live in such a bizarre world right now that for a second I thought that this was real, and it wasn't even like I was shocked by it. I'm like, I genuinely thought this was real for a second.
I would think that's real, except that person skipped leg day.
Yeah, they may end up putting her on the cover, and they could have done some airbrush or whatever they do these days. Like, it's not out. We live in a permanent state of pose law. It's not out of the realm of possibility at all.
You just never know what's real these days. But
you don't know what's real anymore. Yeah, absolutely.
Okay, she's doing the buccal fat Ozempic stuff now, so I no longer think she's hot. I'm cured. Thank you, Internet.
Are you talking about Miley Cyrus?
Yeah.
No.
I've never found her it doesn't tickle my fancy. Never, not from day one. I don't, especially I don't like her music. I don't like her, her kind of vibe. I don't know her. Maybe she's the nicest person ever, but I'm just saying, like, I personally don't feel any kind of positivity. There's nothing that like it stimulates me in any way, like on any level, not on our artistic level, not on her personality or character or her appeal or her looks. Like there's nothing. There's not even one redeeming quality. You know what I mean? Ista, I guess,
good.
You didn't watch Hannah Montana religiously?
No. But now that I'm looking at more pictures, I think I'm cured. The ones that I liked were definitely messed with. Let's put it that way.
When I like look at her, I don't have this like kind of interesting feeling, and which I can't really explain. I don't have that feeling.
She doesn't give you the tingles. I understand. Linda Carter gives me tingles all over.
Right. You see Linda Carter until today. You watch an episode of that Wonder Woman. We were watching these shows. Nothing we saw on that show made any logical sense. It was completely like silly and nonsensical. Yet we were watching it still with great interest because she really looked fantastic. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
you knew what team you were on if you watched Wonder Woman. If you're of a certain age, right?
Yeah. Right, exactly. You knew exactly which team you were on. Miley Cyrus is not in that category. I've always wondered why the lesser known Hemsworth was ever even really with her. Maybe because he's the lesser known Hemsworth.
I'm officially cured. It's not a problem, and we need never speak of this again.
I'm happy to hear that.
So you educated Ista.
I'll never be cured of Linda Carr. I've been watching the show. It's terrible, but I can't stop watching.
Yeah. Argentum was mentioning in the chat. I believe it was Chris Gore was saying earlier today that he thinks this was all a setup, or part of it at least was a setup to try and get Elliot Page an Oscar. What do you think?
Yeah, that's what I said when I came in.
It's not enough of a role.
It's not enough of a role. You can't even do it as a supporting role. There's just not enough to work with here.
I mean,
say that. Yeah, say that. But there are actors with fewer on-screen minutes than Elliot Page who have received Oscars for their appearance in their films.
And did you notice even when she's not on screen, everybody's like signing. Like they talked about signing the greatest soldier for like half the freaking movie.
Right, yeah, there is that dumb thing, yeah.
Yeah, I did say it was a $500 million ploy to get a Transformer into the Oscar building.
Like, I mean, possible. I did think they were, choose my pronouns carefully, were good in that last scene because I didn't recognize who it was, and I thought the lines were well delivered, but it's such a minor role that, I mean, how the heck could you? But you're saying that other actors have had less lines and gotten Oscars?
Yeah, less minutes, less screen time, less everything. Yeah.
So famously, Beatrice Straight, who was in the film Network.
Yep.
Received
I can't take it anymore. Network.
Received an Oscar for Best Supporting Actress. She was in the film for 5 minutes and 2 seconds.
And remember, we were just talking about her because she was Queen Hippolyta on Wonder Woman TV show.
Judi Dench received her Supporting Actress Oscar for Shakespeare in Love for a 6-minute appearance on screen.
What about Jack Nicholson for A Few Good Men? I don't know if he won the award there, but didn't he get at least nominated and he only had a few minutes?
Yeah, I think he was nominated. I don't think he won, though.
Do you know how many minutes Jack Nicholson had in the movie? I'm curious.
Yeah,
not a lot, but they were impactful though.
Yeah,
but man, he impacted that movie. You don't like
that movie isn't that movie without Jack Nicholson,
right? I mean, that is like the very example of being given something and just doing like a complete home run. How many minutes did Jack Nicholson have in A Few Good Men?
That's Gronk.
I'm looking that up now.
That's Grocket. But you can't handle the truth. I mean, that line lives forever. I mean,
it's such a the
even
delivery
if you haven't
of that
seen the
scene
movie,
is
you know that, right?
Roughly 15 to 20 minutes out of 138-minute runtime.
Yeah.
I thought he was even less than that, but
it was about 20 minutes of screen time. Yeah.
So he's quite a bit.
How many minutes?
In the low 20s.
Low 20s
is what I'm saying. Yeah.
You know what?
Did you order the Code Red?
You know what? That's what you remember from that movie. Although I will say that I think that out of Tom Cruise's entire career, when it comes to not action, but just actually giving like an acting performance, that has to be one of his best performances, in my opinion.
What about Born on the 4th of July?
He's great in that.
That as well. There's a few things that of his that I could also like talk about, but I feel like if you ask me what my favorite performance of his, that's not like one of those action things or whatever, or sci-fi or something more like blockbustery, I think that his performance in A Few Good Men is for me one of his best performances. High up there with top 3 for me.
All right, I'm gonna have to go back and watch that because I thought he had a little of that smarmy sort of Tom Cruise smugness, but I haven't seen that in about 20 years, so I will go revisit that. And
early on in his career, they would choose roles for him, the ones that were more dramatic, where he's like arrogant and douchey, and for some reason he was really good at those roles. So I don't know if that's how he was in real life or whatever it is, but those roles really those were the roles I believed. You know what I mean? Like I was convinced that he was that, and I think that in A Few Good Men, it was a situation where you needed somebody arrogant and douchey, but also that has like some kind of like ideals or something like that, and I thought it was just a perfect fit. It was absolutely for me one of his best roles, and that scene with Jack Nicholson, I think Jack Nicholson home run, and he's the MVP there. But I also think that Tom Cruise does well in the scene, cooking it up. You know what I mean? Like the whole questioning of the character and everything that leads up to it. I think that Tom Cruise really puts in. If there was ever something to give him an award for, I think it was that. Some people say Born on the 4th of July. I would have given him an award for like A Few Good Men, personally.
I'm gonna have to go back
Digger trailer before.
I have I still can't make any sense of it.
I thought it looked pretty interesting. I get a lot of Dr. Strangelove vibes.
I get a lot of Elon Musk vibes from it, but who knows? Yeah, it could be interesting. I mean, I do like his movies. The Firm, I thought, he tried to play a similar one. They butchered that book in the ending for The Firm, and I thought he didn't quite pull off that sort of idealistic.
Wasn't as good there. Wasn't as good
No,
as
yeah.
in The Firm, but I do think he was good in A Few Good Men.
No.
Some late guy, Long Island 90, gave us a Rumble rant, and the Rumble rant is for $10, and he says, "Hey fellas, I'm late. LOL. How's everyone doing? Also, shout out to Dude Bro Seth, which is nice to see Dude Bro Seth here as well. And thank you, some late guy Long Island 90, for the Rumble rant. We always appreciate the support, and we appreciate seeing you here, and it's nice to see Dude Bro Seth here and other people like Phantom Monk and Elizabeth Quince and Born to Be Down. A lot of great people here in the Rumble rant.
All right, I just pulled the Blu-ray out. It's going to be my next watch. If you get
there, you go. You're not watching Miley Cyrus. You're actually going to watch A Few Good Men. Okay.
I have no idea what you're talking about, Mark. Why would you even bring that up?
Sorry. Yeah.
Who wants to watch that gross tattooed skank? Nobody wants to see that.
Kodo Rob says, I was surprised. Sorry, I just want to bring this up.
Sorry, go ahead.
I was surprised on the 4th of July stream, this is from Kodo Rob 22, when Price was on Nerd Wars, that Angry Badger was not much of a fan of A Few Good Men, which was kind of surprising, to be honest. I don't remember. Did Badger say he didn't like it? I don't remember that. I personally like that movie. Also, was there a stream on 4th of July? I don't even remember. I guess other people remember where I was and what I said. What some other people said better than I do. But in any case, I don't recall Badger telling me he didn't like it, but it is possible. So I don't know.
Yeah, it's kind of on brand for him, but I don't even remember the order that the scenes happened in the Odyssey. And it's only
a lot of times I agree. Like Badger is a guy that, I'd say like 8 out of 10 times I'll agree with, we'll have similar views. Once in a while, there'll be something that we have complete polar opposite views on, but he has the right to think whatever he thinks about stuff. We can't always all agree on everything. And sometimes people like something and another person doesn't like it. Or some people kind of like it and doesn't like it. Even here with this Odyssey thing, I think that I'm more forgiving than the three of you. I still recognize the issues, but I felt that I was a bit more forgiving than you guys. Still wouldn't give it like a 10 out of 10, right? But I'm just saying, like, I'm more forgiving than I think you guys are, because I'm just like, okay, he's just doing whatever. He twisted it around and does whatever he feels like doing. It's like Chris Nolan's Odyssey by Chris Nolan. Directed by Chris Nolan. You know what I mean? It's like he's doing this is a Chris Nolan production, and that he's doing whatever the fuck he wants. He doesn't care. You like the book, you like this, he doesn't give a shit. But the only thing I guess I'll say about it is that just circling back to this review here that we're talking about it, is that at least, as opposed to most of the people in Hollywood that do these kind of subversions or their own versions of stuff or whatever, I do think that Chris Nolan has enough talent to decide that he's doing this and it'll still be watchable. You may say it's a missed opportunity, and why didn't you do it the right way, or why didn't you do it more faithfully? Why couldn't you do more? But he decided what he wanted to do, and I still think that it has some merit, even if I would have made other decisions.
Yeah, the language though, but the world would be boring if we all had the same opinions.
Right.
Like
exactly.
I said, I am handicapping him for being Nolan. Like I said, I'd pass this in a heartbeat if it was most other directors, but also if it was most other directors, this movie would almost assuredly flop. So
he does get a lot of Chris Nolan's name to it. There's people going to see this movie just because of Chris Nolan, right? Which is he's earned that, right? So
I mean, that's people ordered tickets a year in advance to see it in 70 millimeter because it had Chris Nolan in it. They didn't know anything about it other than Chris Nolan.
Yeah, and people refunded their tickets, their IMAX showings that were sold out that are no longer sold out. But again, because he has
mine was sold out.
He has to pay the Chris Nolan tax because we expect more from him. He doesn't get a pass maybe when other people should.
With $250 million and how talented he is, you really want the best. And when you don't get the best, people notice that he could have done something better than he did. But I will still argue that Christopher Nolan, quote unquote, on an off day or doing something that's not perfect, is still a lot better than a lot of other things I've seen. I didn't hate it, but I could also understand, and I'll say again, if somebody walked into this theater expecting like a faithful adaptation, and this aspect was very important to them, then they're not getting that here. If somebody walked in thinking it's a different interpretation, it's Christopher Nolan doing whatever he wants to do, then maybe there's a way to enjoy it. And I think that I accepted it. Didn't love every aspect of it, but I accepted it and was able to enjoy it for whatever it was, I guess.
Yeah,
What do you
I
guys
don't
think
think
this
it was
is gonna
as good.
do?
I don't think it was as good as Troy or Gladiator or even the other Odyssey.
Oh,
but
it's nowhere near as good as Gladiator. Gladiator is easily a way better film. It's one of my favorite films ever. I love Gladiator.
It's the whole Ridley Scott versus Nolan thing. But
by the way, I saw a commercial in the theater that Ridley Scott is making another movie, and I'm like, man, another movie? Like, I hate to be mean, but I feel like Ridley Scott, I don't know. I don't know if he should continue to make these movies. I know it's a terrible thing for me to say. Maybe this next one is going to be like, he'll knock it out of the park, but like, you know, I didn't see that, like, you know, watching the movie, you know, the trailer.
Isn't he 90 now? I don't think he's knocking anything.
I don't think he should. Yeah, I don't think he should do it. There was some movie with like Jacob Elordi or whatever his name is. I don't know what that was. The trailer didn't seem awful, but when I saw it was by Ridley Scott, and like you said, he's. I hate to say it because you know you could be old and do stuff, but he is kind of old, and it's not like over the years he's gotten better with age.
Well, maybe Tarantino's rule is correct. Then you're limited yourself to 10 movies, so you can't go downhill in the end of your career.
I kind of agree with him to an extent, but I really wish that he didn't limit to 10 movies. He just said, you know what? At age 65, I'm retiring. I'll try to make a bunch of good movies until then. Instead, like he takes his time, like waits like 70 years between movie to movie. I still really like his movies, but I wish there were either more of them or I don't know, you know. But
because Clint Eastwood did some amazing movies towards the end of his career. I mean, you got to say true, right?
And one has to wonder if Quentin Tarantino is going to stay true to his promise, or like he'll have an itch and he'll be like, "Nah, I got to make this movie." I wonder.
Mark, you had a question earlier. I interrupted.
No, I didn't want to talk over him, but what do you guys think this is going to do for box office? Do you think? I mean, probably a big weekend. To start, but what do you think that second weekend before Spidey-Man opens?
Gonna have a big opening weekend for sure. There's no question. It's gonna have a big opening weekend, but where it goes after that, honestly, I'm still saying this drops off. Your final box office is gonna be somewhere between 500 and 600 million.
Yeah, but even Deadline was backtracking on the initial estimates. Did you see that?
They've way overhyped this. They kept saying you over the last 3 days I've seen shooting for it's gonna open to $100 million box office. It's gonna open weekend to $120 million. It's gonna open to a $200 million worldwide. It's gonna open to a $210 million worldwide. Like they just keep amping up these numbers, and then when it lands and it only does 140, where do they go from there? Like,
I think it'll do a weekend. I think that the weekend will be like 200 million worldwide, which is what they're saying.
It could be.
I think that'll happen. And I tend to think that you know, I keep thinking of something in between 600 to 700. That's what I think. Maybe 500 to 600. I'm thinking 600 to 700. That it'll just be like an amount that they'll be able to say that it didn't lose money. But I don't see this making like any kind of $1 billion. I think
it's going to have to be way higher than that for them to say it really made money, though, because this is a $250 million production budget, and they spent at least 150 to 200 on marketing. So we're talking like 800.
I don't even understand why it was worth it for them to do all of this, because it's not going to make. I don't think that it's going to make that kind of money back.
There's not a chance.
Yeah, they're going to claim it does, though, and they might hit the break even with all of the physical media and stuff afterwards. But
physical media now doesn't bring in more than $10 million.
No, I meant video on demand. You know what I mean?
No, even video on I'm just video on demand too. Like it just does not bring in that as much money as you think it does. Go look at some of the recent films that have come out. Go look at the numbers from that. You're talking less than $20 million change in the final budget for everything.
They can say whatever they want, and after 600 million, they'll claim victory, even if it's not
even though supposedly Nolan is getting a 20% off the top.
Whoa!
From the box office.
Oh,
are you serious?
IMAX takes 18% off the top end as well, so that makes a huge hit. How you said 20? So that's almost 40% of the gross already being taken away and not going back to the cost of production.
I don't know. All of this sounds very weird to me, but I know one thing. If it makes, like, let's say, over $625 million, most of the trades are going to say, well, you take the production budget, it was 250, you do times 2.5, you're with 625, and they're going to claim that at least there it's breaking even. We know that they spend so much money on the marketing here, and like you've said, other deals with Nolan, that 625 is probably not going to be enough, but they're going to claim, like you guys said, they're going to claim it is.
Yeah. Well, they love claiming victory when there isn't one.
According to Forbes, Universal paid Christopher Nolan $20 million up front for the Odyssey as an advance against 20% of the studio's box office take.
Gross or net?
That sounds like net, though.
20. Well, so net, not gross. But 20% of the studio's side of the take. So that means that when the studio gets their 50%, he's taken 20% of that.
That's very
that means that
what
the studio's actually going to make off of the film is actually only, 40%, right? They only get to keep 40 because 10% of that, 10% of the box office,
and
goes straight to Nolan's pocket.
And all of those expensive IMAX showings, they get 20% off the gross, off the front end. So that means 18.
That means for the studio to make money on this, they have to break $1 billion.
Wow.
Well, they're expecting to.
Ain't gonna happen.
There's
not a chance in hell. This
movie's too long,
it's too long. Yeah. It's R-rated. And if you look back, I mean, Oppenheimer was massively successful, and a big part of that was Barbenheimer. Barbenheimer. It didn't get to $1 billion. So without all of that extra, push, the sort of meme culture that was dragging people into theaters, Oppenheimer would never have made that much. And
how much did Oppenheimer end up making? That movie had legs.
It was $930, something like that.
Which is amazing for a movie with that subject matter, right?
Yeah, it was $970, but 2/3 of that was international, and they get less off that. So
yeah, they get significantly less off that. Yeah,
but they really want a 1-for-1 split. But Oppie was very much skewed international, and that's where this movie. There's no telling. It could totally flop internationally. If the rest of Europe is pissed like Greece, who knows?
I don't think so. I think that the rest of Europe is going to be maybe more forgiving. I don't know why. I still think when we saw Supergirl, we knew this thing is going to be a disaster. I don't think that this is a disaster. I sat in an IMAX theater today, not the 70 millimeter, just the regular IMAX. There wasn't one seat available. Now, really? I know it's opening now, and maybe this opening weekend is going to be big, and maybe there will be a drop-off, but I still think that there were people when the movie was over, and this isn't a fan screening, there were people clapping at the end for whatever that's worth. There were people that were very much into it. I could tell that there were people that had enjoyed the movie. Keep in mind also that there are many people that don't really care at all about this adaptation, about the original source material. This isn't even something like they read a comic book and now they want it to be like true to that comic. This is something that's so kind of like, it's something that was written so long ago and doesn't have that kind of place where people walk in and they're demanding. You guys are that way, but most people aren't. You know what I mean? And I felt it in the theater. I felt in the theater. Call them normies, call them whatever you want. That they're not looking beyond whatever they see here in the movie. They're not worried about if he stayed true to something or not true to something. All the stuff that we're worried about, they don't care about it. And I felt it when I sat here watching it. I can't explain why I felt it, but the overall sentiment I picked up in the theater was that generally speaking, most of the people that saw it seemed happy. So I think this is going to do okay. I just don't think it's going to do Oppenheimer numbers because it just can't. It doesn't have that Barbenheimer thing, and it's long, and it's not going to have just that effect. But I do think it can get to 600.
When did you buy your tickets? I'm curious. When did they sell out?
I bought mine maybe not a long time ago. I got it maybe like a week and a half ago or something like that.
Okay.
Something along a week ago, and I looked at, and it was an IMAX screening that almost everything was full already. And then I chose, like, I found that there were a few seats, and I chose a seat, and I was able to see it. But even when I looked, there weren't a ton, and when I went today, there were zero. Like, it was packed 100%.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm just curious as to, when it actually sold out. Because, there are people scalping these on eBay. There are theaters who've been sold out for 6 months,
But are those
Yeah.
like the real IMAX? Like one of the 30 IMAX?
Mine was a real IMAX, and it was full. That's all I can say. There was no space. I'll even say that I don't want to say that. It's a mean thing. I shouldn't say it.
Oh, now you have to say it. You're not allowed to tease us like that.
Like, there was a guy sitting next to me, and he was a little more like plump, and I felt that, like, it
Was he on your armrest? I hate it. Was he on your?
Yeah, because I'm trying to put my drink there, and I feel bad because it's like he hasn't done anything bad to me. You know what I mean? He's probably a nice guy, but it's like, man, I really like it when they're, if there's maybe like a skinny hot woman sitting next to me, I'd rather prefer that.
Price, I just want to apologize in advance. I'm sorry.
No, this isn't an airplane. Everybody gets their own armrest. There's no excuse for him to be rolling over onto yours.
He didn't mean to, but it's like I'm trying to put my drink in this little thing that they're like, it holds your drink, and I'm trying to put it in there, and it's like I feel like it's too close for comfort. You know what I mean? Like I'd rather, like I said, if it's that close for comfort, I prefer hot thin lady.
Did you did you have to pee at all, or did you make it all the way through?
I made it through without peeing. You know why? Because I peed right before the movie, like the second before the movie, like I did. And then I sat there and I'm like, I'm watching this movie. I watched, and then second I went out, then, that was a good time.
And he ate a lot. He ate a lot of popcorn, so he was able to just sort of retain all the salt. Helped him retain all the fluids.
I did eat popcorn. I don't know if it helped or not, but I did eat popcorn.
That absolutely does happen. If you eat lots of salt, you'll retain all the fluids instead of needing to go to the bathroom.
That did happen to me. I actually thought to myself at some point, this movie could have had an intermission. It was so long, but whatever. I mean,
but we're professional YouTubers. We're good at holding it, right? Come on. But the other thing was, like, the seats I'm at in our theater, they have like the two seats are together for people that are friends, but then there's an armrest that comes down. So like the guy next to me kept fidgeting and kept like, don't go into my space. Don't go into my space. Like this, the right side, you have your own armrest, but the left, you don't. He was all right, but a couple times he was fidgeting. And then he ran to the bathroom really fast. It was like, wow, that was a quick bathroom trip. But that is annoying when the theater is always filled. I'm always like, especially in the wintertime, it's like, oh, I hope there's a seat I can just throw my coat on.
Yep.
I had to go, and I missed the Lestrigonians.
My theater was not full. It rarely is, though. It's not a true IMAX. It's sort of a fake IMAX, whatever you want to call it. Limax, I believe some people call it. But it is a larger screen, and it does show in that aspect ratio digitally. It's just not as big as a true IMAX screen.
Yeah, I just went to regular Dolby, but
it's the AMC.
Understand.
It's the AMC branded IMAX. But it was not full. I would say it was as full as when I went to see Mando and Grogu. Maybe a little bit more full than when I went to see Mando and Grogu. But there was no cheering or clapping or anything like that. The movie was over and everyone left.
There were 15
we had a couple
people.
Of claps.
I counted. There were 15 people besides me in the movie. Maybe somebody came in and out, like I didn't notice, but it was because I didn't actually buy a ticket to this movie.
It was kind of funny because
you didn't buy a ticket.
How did that work? I had to buy a ticket.
I bought a ticket. I just didn't buy a ticket for the Odyssey
to that movie.
So you bought one for some crappy thing that was cheaper and then sat in the fancy thing?
No. It was the same price. I just didn't. I didn't want to give my money to this woke.
You bought the ticket for the Miley Cyrus movie.
That's really funny. Yeah, that you bought it for a different movie just not to give in money. That's pretty interesting.
I do that for every Disney movie I've seen in the last 10 years. It's
But
not
who do you
like
give your
anything-
money to at the end? All the movies suck usually. Who do you end up giving your money to?
Anybody but Disney. Like usually there's something there that I think this time it was Young Washington. So
Oh, good
I see.
choice.
Well, there you go.
I want to
I
support who I
approve
want to
of that.
support. Like if I didn't do this YouTube thing, I wouldn't be seeing it at all. So I sort of feel like it's a fair,
But do you have assigned seats? Like you can't do that anymore. Where I go to the movies because everyone's got an.
There are assigned seats, but there are only 15 people there. You can assign yourself
exactly.
to see whatever you want.
I didn't sit in the seat that I had assigned because some asshole in a half-filled theater decided to buy the seat right next to me. So I didn't sit in the seat that I bought. I moved and sat somewhere else.
Yeah, I've had to move seats occasionally in the middle of the movie. It's not a big deal. I'll go over one, whatever.
Yeah.
But what happens if the plan backfires? You go into the theater and it's full.
No. I look and check before I
check before.
Yeah. I'm not just going to wing it. I look.
Man, you have such a elaborate.
This got a
scheme here.
system.
Well,
For me, I just do that thing where I pay like one price and then I can just go see all the movies.
But,
and that for me works best,
Yeah, it's not about the money. It's about not giving them the money. I usually go to
about
really
sending
early,
a message.
Yeah, it's really an early. I usually go, 1 p.m., 12:30 p.m. Yeah, like I'm not going during prime time. I'm not, putting anybody else out.
That's not going to sell out. Yeah, it's not a sellout or whatever.
Listen, the only vote we have is with our wallet. So if I have to see something, I'm still not going to waste my vote.
That's a good way to think. Yep.
Fair enough. Well, gosh, I had another question for you guys, but don't remember what it was now.
It better not be about Miley Cyrus.
No. No, I think we should go back. We'll just start walking through the movie, from the beginning, since it's it's just 3 a.m. So we can start with the first scene. And
were you guys talking about Supergirl before I got here again?
Oh no, I don't even think we mentioned it.
Well, you were mentioning the new Superman movie before.
Oh yeah,
right?
I think we mentioned that Supergirl was going to be. Yeah, we were talking about the just ridiculous number of characters that it seems like every week they're announcing another character that they're going to be throwing into the new
Man of Tomorrow.
Tomorrow, yeah.
But did you see the
off planet though?
Did you see the article that says they want to cut all of Kara's scenes out of Man of Tomorrow because after the flop?
They really should.
There's a tweet. Let me see if I can find the tweet for you, Bryce.
Yeah, I predict she'll be just off planet somewhere on another mission. They'll just say she's helping she's helping that girl that she just met. I don't know, but yeah. So
somebody wrote that it's a party in the USA. I don't know if it's a tip of the hat to liking Miley Cyrus, but I will say this. Miley Cyrus, even she even looks like the type of person that if I'm like at a bar and it's late at night, like I wouldn't be excited. You know what I mean? Like I'm not saying like I'm just an average looking guy at best. Okay. So, and I'm not 20. So, for me, maybe that would be fine at a late hour at a bar, but like not when you look at like a magazine and things like that. You know what I mean? It's not, I don't see it, Vista. I just don't see it. I would also need probably a number of drinks myself.
Yep.
Well, not having that option has kept me out of a lot of trouble, I will say.
I remember what it was I was going to say. I was just going back to you guys were talking about Ridley Scott. I was like, what's this new project he's working on? Okay. I just hopped onto IMDb. Do you want to know how many projects he has in upcoming on listed on IMDb?
Like 50.
As a director, 9 projects.
So it's a Lucasfilm thing.
The one you're thinking of is Dog Stars, I think, is the one that you're thinking of, because that one's coming up soon. But as a producer, 24 projects. The guy is 90.
God bless him. Jeez. I hope I'm around at 90, let alone still working. So.
Well, honestly, I think it's just putting his name in it. But yeah, I think the Dog Stars, I think, is the one you're thinking of that you saw something about. It's a post-apocalyptic thing, and it's got Elordi and Josh Brolin and Margaret Qualley in it.
Well, my dad would always joke, like, never retire, because it'd be like, did you see so-and-so finally retired? Then he died like 6 months later. And the tragic thing of it was my dad retired at age 85 and found out he had pancreatic cancer on Christmas Day, and he was gone 6 months later. So we kind of had some gallows humor. We're like, see, Dad, because we had our own family business, and it's like, I'm 85. He's like, I think I'm going to finally retire and sell off part of the business. So.
It says Liam Hemsworth was with J-Law in her prime. Was he? I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Well, Margaret Qualley's in her prime now, and I have to say,
I was going to say, if you need somebody to replace Miley Cyrus in your dreams, there, buddy, Margaret Qualley can take care of that for you, because she is a knockout.
Daddario.
Yeah, she's always been on my hall pass, but ever since I think it was White Collar, the first time I saw her, I've been mesmerized by her. But I think. So Margaret Qualley, her nude scenes in The Substance, those were prosthetic breasts. I could not believe. Yeah, that's not her real boobs. But
I don't understand. What are you talking? Why wouldn't it be her own boobs?
Because they wanted her to be perfect, and they were perfect, but it was her butt, but it wasn't her breast. I did a scientific experiment with a 4K. Like, you can see. You can just, if you frame by frame it, you can sort of see the seam.
You did this for the science of it.
It's good to know that you're spending your time doing really interesting things, Mr. Phobos.
Yes, for science, but you can look it up. No, those are not her boobs, and they are, and I didn't know until I was very kind of bummed when I found out. I'm sure hers is still
she's not
nice.
Quite as ample as she looks in The Substance.
Because I really liked how she looked in that movie. Now it's kind of disappointing.
Talk about shrinkage.
I'm sorry I ruined Johnson to you there.
Right? Yes. It's like now it's like when you say there's no tooth fairy or something,
No comment on that. But like I said, I still think in real life you would not be disappointed at all.
No.
I mean, she's still pretty. I really liked how she looked in that movie. So that's a bit of a downer, but it is what it is.
I know. When I first read it, I didn't believe it. I'm like, there's no way that's fake. That's why I had to do a rigorous, double-blind, super controlled scientific study for.
I had a friend in high school who did almost the same exact thing, and he made it. His first name was Pete, and he made a tape of brief nudity. And I'm always wondering if he turned out to be Mr. Skin, because he had this VHS tape, and he had like anything with brief nudity, he kept adding it to this VHS tape. I'm like, always like, do you think Pete is really Mr. Skin? It's like. But he was a visionary, Pete. He had the right idea. But and he'd be like, guys, do you want to watch my tape of brief nudity? Like, no.
That's the mixtape everyone wants you to.
Yeah. Oh, wow. Oh God.
All right. Well, we got anything else, Price? Or we're coming up on.
I think we're pretty good. I think we're pretty good.
All right.
This has been a fun stream, and I enjoyed hanging out with you guys here. Professor, thank you as usual. It's the Phobos, Mark D with a C. Let me share everybody's links here.
Thank you.
And while you're sharing everyone's links, marks out of 10, I guess. Let's get our marks out of 10 for the movie out of the way here. Okay. Obviously, Price has to do his analysis to decide exactly what he's going to give it a score.
It's hard for me to say. It's not below a 60. Okay.
Yeah.
If I was in a very, very generous mood, very, very generous, I may give it like. I'm taking into consideration that he has $250 million to make this movie. It's such an unprecedented amount of money. And like also what you guys were saying, that we hold him to a high standard. With all of that being said, I couldn't give him like a spectacular score here. Like I would give him, it's tough for me. I don't know. I'm going to say a score, but I don't know if that's my score. I have to think about it more. Maybe if you accept that it's not faithful and it's just him doing his own thing and you're okay with that, maybe it's like a 7 out of 10. And that's if I'm being generous.
Price, I have a video review of this movie, a spoiler-free one. It's not listed yet. I was going to list it tomorrow, but I could post the link in the chat if it's okay with you, and people can get a sneak preview.
Sure, do it.
Yeah, go ahead. 6 out of 10. Again, I don't hate this movie. I really don't. I was surprised at the parts that I was like, yeah, well, they really did a solid, did a solid film here. There's some solid stuff going on. Like I said, like there's numerous scenes that I thought played really well. The dialogue was solid, even though I feel like it was written for a 6th grader. It worked. It was fine. But in the end, it feels incomplete. It feels like it's just it didn't come together as a really great film. On top of all the other things we've complained about with the casting, with the costuming, the atrocious sound. Even though it's not the worst he's ever done, it's still not great. Everything just coming together, it's a 6 out of 10 for me. That's as best I can do.
I originally was a 6 out of 10, but every time I think about the language, and then I think about, what they did to the character, like, if I'm in a cranky mood, it's 5 out of 10. If I'm in a good mood and I'm thinking about the parts I actually enjoyed, it's a 6 out of 10. It's not going to go higher. And I feel like if I go lower, people won't take me seriously. But the fact is, I have no desire ever to revisit this movie again. So between 5 and 6, depending on my PMS.
Well, I would give this a 5 because it gave me a freaking headache. My popcorn was burnt. The guy next to me was fidgeting. And those drums in the end, my God, and the seats that were vibrating. I'm sounding like such an old man here. And I think it missed that epic vision that I wanted to see. There was something that didn't click. It's just some of the pieces were good, but it just didn't come together as a whole. And some of the acting was good. I think the casting controversy ended up being much ado about nothing because of how little those people were in the movie. But it's just I just don't want to go see this again.
Yeah, the same, absolutely the same. It's funny because my son was asking me about it because he's in high school. They did study some of they didn't actually sit down and read the whole thing, but they did study it and they talked about it, and everything. And so he was asking me about it. And he's like, did they have this part in it? Did they do that? Did they whatever? And we were talking about it. He's like, I can't tell what you think about it. And I was like, I mean, it's not the worst thing I've ever seen. I'm not like pissed off that I wasted 3 hours of my life seeing it, but I wouldn't bother seeing it again.
Yeah, it just wasn't one of those where I really dreaded seeing The Last Jedi 2 nights in a row. But this I just really, and it's so long too. It's just, even sometimes when a movie's not, this is a very mediocre mid movie, if you want to use that parlance. I just don't want to sit through it again. I just don't think I could take it.
No, not without earplugs.
Not without the eargasms. Right?
Indeed.
But, go decide for yourself, right? I mean, we always appreciate people that listen and hang out and, like our, interested in our points of view. But it's just too much of a miss. But other people have loved this. This is a very polarizing movie. I don't think I've seen anything so polarizing before it came out. Maybe some of the Star Wars stuff. But this had a lot of buzz in both directions. And I just don't think it didn't stick the landing for me. It didn't leave me. I want to be kind of uplifted or excited when I leave the movie theater. I was more excited to leave and head to that restroom and take some aspirin for my headache.
I really, people talk about escapism and stuff. That's kind of what I want out of most film, right? I want to be transported somewhere. I want to be taken out of where I am and then brought to some other place, some other, the thing that's happening. this didn't do that. There was far too many modernisms. There was, again, just all the other stuff that we've talked about, the race blind casting, which again, the casting of these sort of stunt casting things, like you said, kind of almost like a nothing burger, right? Because they're such small parts, but at the same time, there's this race blind casting throughout it. That's like I said, the Indian man and the black man saying, "We're Greeks from Ithaca." Like, what? I'm sorry.
That didn't fly too well. Yeah. Or they didn't explain it.
Yeah.
Sometimes movies will explain it, like, "Oh, this person, was washed ashore," or, XYZ. That's why they're here, or something.
No, all of Odysseus's crew looks like downtown Seattle.
Yep. People still don't shave.
Yeah. I can't even count how many moments I almost sort of sunk into the movie. Maybe I could have handled the language better, but something happened that knocked me out of my immersion. I think if I had been able to not do that, the language eventually would have normalized for me. But, I just can't help think of so many other, like Clash of the Titans, the 1981 version was awesome. I can't believe how good that was. I'd forgotten.
Oh, God.
I'd rather watch that again. Like, I just, I didn't hate it, but like I said, with the Nolan tax, it really shouldn't get more above a 5. If you take into the money into account and the Nolan into account, I think even Price would agree on a curve, it's got to fail.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, at the end of the day, I sat there and there was enough about it that I didn't hate. I had to accept that he's doing his own thing, and maybe some people I can understand why they wouldn't accept that and just give it a failing grade regardless of anything, and I respect that. But I didn't hate it. I sat there. I didn't hate the movie. That's all I can say. Like, again, is that the biggest ringing endorsement? No. Is it like, it's not the Godfather level scores that you're seeing on Rotten Tomatoes? And sure, for $250 million, I think somebody like Christopher Nolan could have made a perfect adaptation, which he didn't do, and he could have done a better movie, but I still didn't hate it. So for me, I again, 7 out of 10 may be generous, but maybe that's the direction of what I'd go, with the understanding that it's not a faithful adaptation.
This is the worst I've felt about a movie without being able to say I absolutely hated it.
Right. I mean, listen, I have to be honest. If I sat there and I would have suffered, I would have just told you, I hate this movie. I suffered. It's awful. But I have to have some honesty here. And all I can say is how I felt. I could recognize there were things like the feminism, like the strange casting, like the American accents, like there were things, and also the PTSD, and they're reworking the themes, and there's so many things that, like, on paper I can tell you why they would annoy me, and when I watched the movie, they did annoy me mildly. But even with all of that, there was enough about this movie that got my attention, that I still enjoyed watching. Enough scenes that I liked, enough situations, enough like atmosphere, things that I did enjoy, and that's all I can say at the end. It's flawed. I see the issues, and I didn't hate it.
That's great. I think you're a better person than me in some ways, that you're able to accept that. I understand, because in a tiny little way, I'm there too, just not nearly as far along the road. But I do get the concept.
Yeah, that's a good synopsis. Yeah, and the other thing, I don't know, just my screening, I couldn't hear a lot of the dialogue.
Yeah, we know
that actually hurt the movie too.
We know how it made you feel, Mark. You still got a headache.
Well, I want to read the shout-outs here quickly. On Rumble, we have Darren Mai, Elizabeth Quince, God Bless 5697, Phantom Outsider 15, Born to Be Down, Folsom Lockdown, Angelo DD, Red Matador, Entropy Nomad, Phantom Monk, Dude Rosef 420, Angry Sparrow, Mark D with a C, Some Late Guy 90, some Late Guy Long Island 90, and Loyish. And by the way, Phantom Monk, now is a good time to set up that raid.
Yep.
If it's
and
possible.
Our top 50 of all, we had some great people with us in the chat over both on Rumble and on YouTube. Oh, and we did get some Late Guy Long Island 90 to give us that Rumble rant. So thank you for that support. Rogues over on YouTube, Rogues Backstory, Planet X87, B Celeste, Black Cat Red Ed, Electronic Progression, Con Lives, Angel Force for You, Mega Cropper, Luis, Scoop, Brother Nico, Trevtoon Art, Tim Hayes, Go Badgers, 1995, Lasher, Ron Donofero, Marla Sharondoff, Ethereal Dragon, Georgia Cyrex, Darren M., Joe Darkness, Keely Chow, Mr. Zerillo, Phantom Outsider, Putin, Scipio, Badfoot, Rebecca Wright, Six, Lucy Meow, Istophobos, Yitus, Gavin Unit, Whalem, Angry Sparrow, Stephen Mack, Mark D with a C, Strugun, Fat Joe, Tomahawk 511, Caleb Levine, Kodo Rob 99, Jason Webster, The Tankella, Douglas Nutt, Big Sur River, The Dead Man, and Kingdom 1996. And again, we did get some lovely support over on YouTube this evening from Kingdom 1996, The Dead Man, and Douglas Nutt. So thank you all for that.
Awesome. Well, we did our thing. We shared everything, and everything's great. And now I guess we can be on our way. I want to thank everybody. Thank the panelists here. Thank you, Professor, for being the co-host. Thank you for our VIP panelists, Istophobos and Mark D with a C. And thank you all for hanging out with us in another episode of The Night Owl, a show that we do twice a week, every Tuesday and Thursday at 11:45 p.m. And since today's Thursday, we will see you here on Tuesday at 11:45 p.m. And I guess now is a good time for us to say goodbye.
All right. Good night, everyone.
Good night, all.
Goodbye, chat. Timing.
Bye.